Na na na. You gotta love that new music for whatever it's called. The intro to the podcast. Oh, it's Giant Night is here. Want to thank the Big Dahmer for going in strong last night. Taking, I guess it was 3 hours and 43 minutes. He hung tough. That's Dom. That's gonna be the new song for Dom. Hanging tough. That's the Dahmer. New York Giants hung tough. Well, not really. But you know what? They did what they did. They did what they thought a lot of people, I should rephrase that. They did what a lot of people thought they would do. We also have right now the Cleveland Browns on the clock at let's see. I got the draft. I got to get the draft on over here. My mouse is sticking because my Bluetooth thingies aren't working here. Let's see here. On the clock right now is let's see here is of course the Cleveland Browns. I mean, the Giants, you saw what they did in the first round. I want to say hello to everyone. I see our herbologist is in there. I see Matthew's in the house. I see Dennis is in the chat as well. Can you fault the Giants for doing what they did after they saw what Cleveland got for that second overall pick? And I know it was for someone to trade up and get that player that's just once in a lifetime. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Oh, I don't have my mouse on. Man, I am so out of sorts today. I'm trying to get back into sorts here. My mouse, for some reason, is not charging, and I don't know why, and I'm not happy about it. But we still have to see here. Let's go to the other website because these picks are going in slow. But you landed Abdul Carter. It's not a shock. But what was more shocking to me was the fact that Giant fans have this impression that he's going to be this 3-down guy. And literally most people in NFL circles says he's not a 3-down guy. He's going to be a situational pass rusher. I mentioned the gentleman, I can't remember who it was 3 o'clock on ESPN, and he basically said, good pick for the Giants. Could be a 10-sack guy as a rookie. And they asked him, well, how about the run? And I love it because he blatantly said, well, he doesn't really play that well. So we're going to have Kayvon Thibodeau, who can't play the run. We're going to have the likes, of course, of Brian Burns, who can't play the run. Then we're going to bring in...
Submitted for your approval. The Ghost Brothers. Nobody needs
Thank you, man. And we're going to have the Ghost Brother come in. We're going to have Ghost Brothers Part 3. We had Hot Shots Part 2. Now it's Ghost Brothers Part 3. Ricardo. So, and then I love it because you don't want the brash quarterback. You don't want the quarterback that's full of himself. You don't want that quarterback that is just, that guy that oozes confidence, because we refer to him as being entitled. But the problem is this: you want a defensive player who's never played a snap in the NFL, jokingly or not, say, well, I want to wear 56. So you want to unretire the greatest number in Giant history, and some will say in NFL history, and we're going to give it to a kid that is yet to take a fucking snap. I mean, does Bueller? Bueller? Does anyone else see a problem with this? Did anyone else get that weird vibe? That's what they. Why don't you just wear? Why don't you just wear 11? We lost the signal there for a minute. What? Because I'm on the wrong Wi-Fi. Hey, we're gonna have a blip for a second. I gotta. I had to switch internet connections. We had a bad internet connection. We got the Cleveland Browns on the clock, according to the website. So why, we don't have to give him 56. Let's just give him 11. We'll just give him 11. Call it a day. And then what cracks me up the most, and I'm not trying to throw any component into this, so you literally can infer whatever you want. I posted it on Twitter to our X today. Um, and it was basically a scout's observation of Jackson Dart. And the scout basically said Jackson Dart, aggressive, fearless at times, perhaps too much so. Big personality, a natural leader, has the charisma Dable needs in a quarterback. Now, the scout said similar things about Shedeur Sanders, but the scout labeled Shedeur Sanders as entitled. Can I get a what? I mean, I don't understand that. Can someone literally explain that to me, that Shedeur Sanders is labeled as entitled, but Jackson Dart is labeled as, well, he's just he's confident in his ability. Yo, Tommy, what's up? He's confident in his ability. Listen, and I also love it because people are using the likes of Joe Judge to okay, no shitting, no, I'm sorry, I gotta watch the cursing because we got something going on here, so I gotta watch the cursing. But we're literally taking lessons now from Ole Miss coach Joe Judge, who is basically saying all these wonderful things about Jackson Dart. That should be a red flag for any Giant fan. The guy that thought he could make a quarterback out of Daniel Jones is saying nice things about Jackson Dart. Look at the Lane Kiffin offense. And I love it because Emmanuel Cho, who broke down 3 plays and said, this is the reason why Jackson Dart should be the quarterback of the Giants. They were all rollouts. They were all to one side of the field. And they were really with only 2 options. What quarterback does that sound like? Pat Shurmur had this. Pat Shurmur had this quarterback. He had this quarterback. I'm not going to say his name, but he had a quarterback. It was a rookie. It's like 2019. Well, we'll just throw it out there and say it was 2019. It was 2019. He had a quarterback. And this quarterback, what Shurmur did was he cut the field in half, gave him 2 options, told him to throw to a spot, and the other option was to run. And that's not a way to learn to read defenses in the NFL. And everyone's going to say, well, Jackson Dart, his yards per completion was like 10.8, and it led all of college football. Who was 3rd in the league in reference to yards per completion? Does anyone know? Does anyone know besides me? Oh, I know what it is. Jalen Milroe. I'm not saying Jackson Dart. First of all, it's Jackson Dart. That's not his name. It is Jackson Dart's name is now MC Light, because the outfit he was wearing, I was like, okay. And then he shows up in the MetLife with the silk shirt, what looks like diamond puka shells. I was like, and that's our quarterback. But don't worry, we traded 2 3s and a 5, or a 2, a 3, and no, a 2, a 3, but it wasn't the first, third, in the third. Our first pick in the 3rd round. It was the other 3rd, and a 3 next year to move up to the spot. We got him because I love this. Because the Rams, you ready for this? The Rams, who have a 2-year window with Matthew Stafford. You always know that Sean McVay is a heartbeat away from retiring and going in the booth. He's got a 2-year window to improve the Rams enough to get back into the playoffs and potentially get to a Super Bowl run. But he's going to go, so let's see here. They take Let's see. Cleveland takes the linebacker, which is Carson Schling. So he's there. He's gone right now. We got the Houston Texans on the clock. I love it because the Cleveland Browns also own the 4th pick. Same with the Raiders. If Shador Sanders is probably going anywhere, I would say it would probably be either 36, 37 to the Raiders. He's not going to New England, not going to Chicago. Potentially can go 40th to the Saints. You know what's scary? What if Jackson Dart falls down to 42 or 44? 42 is the Jets. 44 is the Dallas Cowboys. What happens then? Literally, what happens then? But you have a guy that you traded multiple assets, including the 3rd pick in the 2nd round. Now, going back to the Rams. The Rams have a 2-year window to win. So you could try to tell me all you want that the Rams were going to pick. You could tell me all you want that the Rams were going to pick Jackson Dart. You could tell me all you want, and I'm going to call bullshit. Because when you're the Rams and you literally have a 2-year window to go out and win, what are you going to do? You're not going to trade up or trade back in to go and get Jackson Dart because you need pieces to win now to put them around Matthew Stafford. You're not going to take a quarterback that may not see the field for 3 years. You want to know why? This is shocking because the Rams are a smart organization. They know, they see their window. And their window, Texans pick is in the window of opportunity. This was, of course, a trade. This was, of course, a trade with the New York Football Giants. That was their opportunity. They're not going to waste their opportunity by picking Jackson Dart. So you could give me all the bullshit you want about that. That was like when we had to trade up one spot to get Banks, and the team we leapfrogged didn't even take a corner. I have a feeling Jackson Dart would have been their 34th. I think he would have been their 34th. I think Milroe, of course, we already know Milroe and Sanders would have been 34th. You could have did a Jalen Hurts. You literally could have did a Jalen Hurts scenario where he's on a 2nd-round contract for 4 years. Massey with a big old super chat. Rate the draft out of 10, Tim. Also, Show Dable and Shane have another year right, and Mara was on board with both drafts. Here's my thing. We also have Jaden Higgins, the wide receiver at Ohio State, goes to the Texans. That's actually a really good pickup for the Texans. The Texans, with C.J. Stroud, they need as much help as they can. Tennessee Titans are on the clock, and then the Cleveland Browns and the Las Vegas Raiders. They had to be. Massey, they had to be. This tells me, unless there's an implosion, unless the Giants go 0-8, that Shane and Dave will be back next year no matter what. Unless it's like an 0-17 season or something horrific, they're going to be back because you're going to have to sit there and say to the next head coach. And the Giants have never done this before in Giant history. You're going to have to tell a head coach and a general manager, hey, listen, you're going to have to win with this quarterback. You see this quarterback? We've never done that. We've never gone to a head coach and said, listen, we have a quarterback. You have to win with him. We've never done that. The fuck? Never. But that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to tell a guy, listen, we took this kid 25th overall. We traded all these assets. You have to win. So in my mind, Mara had to have been completely on board. So you're right. Shane and Dable, to me, you're going to get 5 years. This is the worst case scenario for Giant fans. You're going to be tied to these guys like a fucking anchor. Like we were with Daniel Jones. We're going to be tied to these guys like an anchor because of their draft picks. And Joe Shane's first class is pretty much going to completely flame out. And the only thing I don't get about the Abdul Carter thing also is, you say you're going to pick up the Kayvon Thibodeau option for next year at 16.1. That's not a good trade asset because it's completely guaranteed. I love this, Mr. Bruce. No, Tim, you got it wrong. Dart wouldn't have been there. I heard rumors from a source, and the Eagles were looking for a quarterback. Jalen Milroe fits the Eagles better than Jackson Dart ever would. He's almost a clone of Jalen Hurts. But I know you're being facetious, Mr. Bruce. I know you're being facetious. But going back to Abdul Carter, you're going to pick up the $16 million option on Kayvon Thibodeau. You got 20 plus tied into Brian Burt's. You're at 36. You got another 20 plus tied into Dexter. You're at 56. And then you got the contract for Abdul Carter. So you in next year, you're going to have $60 million invested of your cap space on the defensive line. And 3 of the guys can't play the run. I'm a little confused by and the people are like, well, we're gonna have this massive pass rush for like the first 7 weeks of the season. Someone needs to Google this for me. I already know the answer. You don't need to Google it. So for the first like 7 games of the season, who led the league in sacks? Oh, it was the Giants. Getting to the quarterback wasn't the problem. Stopping the run, where we gave up over 2,300 plus yards and 18 touchdowns, and we're ranked 27th in the league against the run. That was the problem. So now you have a guy that NFL scouts say could be a very dominant pass rusher, but he can't play the run. He fits right in.
Submitted for your approval. The Ghost Brothers. Nobody needs to be afraid.
We still have the Seattle Seahawks on the clock. Oh, Mr. Bruce, you wanted to come in last night, and I couldn't get Dom to let you in. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat. I don't know if James and T-Brad are floating around. I could always use some co-hosts. My voice is shot. I think one of the most interesting, I'm going to get to the chat too in a minute. I think one of the most interesting things about the draft yesterday was the muted reaction to the Giants drafting Abdul Carter. There wasn't anything there. There literally was not anything there. I mean, it was like you thought you were going to have this thunderous applause. No. And I will tell you this, the draft party was full compared to last year. And you had a better reception for the Malik Neighbors pick. I love it. Russell Wilson was throwing some balls into the crowd. And I watched him lollipop a couple, and I was thinking to myself, I know he's not doing it because he's not trying to put some zip on he's not putting a fastball on it. But I was looking at some of his throws, and I'm like, oh God, that's not going to go well. That's not going to go well in November. Maybe your arm has gone down a little bit. We've got the Cleveland Browns on the clock. Seattle Seahawks says the pick is in. I'm thinking right now, if you are going to go Shedeur Sanders route, 36 or 37, and then after that, you're looking at 42 to the Jets or 44th to the Cowboys. How much does it suck just to sit there? You're still Shedeur Sanders. You're still sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? Trenton, what's up? Yo. You know what, Trent? I don't want to talk to you. Because once again, the Eagles add another fucking piece to their defense. They had another piece. They had another linebacker. It's not like we don't draft the linebackers. But all the Eagles do is draft linebackers. Trent says, Tim, I'm sorry that they drafted. We dip, you dip, we dip. You know, man, I hope he gets 20 sacks. But the problem is this. He's not going to drop back in coverage well enough. He doesn't play the run well enough. And he's going to get exposed by the likes of Lane Johnson and other people on that Philadelphia Eagle line, Larry Tunstall and over in Washington. It's going to be what it's going to be. And then we have to still wait and see. I love this. I said this to a bunch of people at the draft, and I want to thank T-Brad and everyone else. I basically was thinking this as well. We still don't know where he is with his rehab on his shoulder or his foot. So they took who they took. They took the kid out of where? I don't know where they took him out of. Where's that kid out? Oh, they took the kid out of. I just saw that from Greg just posted that who cares who the Seattle Seahawks? Who fucking cares? Cleveland Browns are on the clock with the 36 overall pick. Trenton also says with a big old super chat, here's some pity cash for drafting Jackson Dart. I love the fact that it's pity cash because we need some pity cash. I'm going to raise money today for the Jackson Dart Fund, and it's going to help him find a tailor. Find a tailor, get some fashion sense. Because that outfit yesterday, we've said it how many times on this show? Great balls of fire. But don't worry. Don't worry, though. Shador Sanders is what you call it. Shador Sanders is too flamboyant and flashy. I love when you wear the diamond puka shells. But and the glasses and that bad haircut. But don't worry. Don't worry. We're all good. Literally, I laugh because James and I'm not making fun of someone's personal appearance, but I was laughing with James because when you saw the picture of Jackson Dart, you literally, the first thing that, and James and I were both sitting there, and we hadn't talked to each other yet about it, but we're both sitting there, and we both said at the same time, after seeing the way he looked at the draft and his outfit, we both said he looks like a bust. He has bust. First of all, he's got the granny glasses on. I think those are the glasses that you see at like CVS, like if you have like cataracts. But listen, you could have that flamboyant outfit, and I can some ways understand the flamboyant outfit. I get that. I get that because you're excited and you have no fashion sense. But then I look, but then I look, and then I look, and I love it because I'm like, please tell me, James, who's there? James,
Yo,
come on, man. Look at this.
man.
They look like the glasses that you should wear, with that have the little strings on them, and so they don't fall off your head.
Yo, but I hate you, man. I mean, I love you. I hate you. Put that thing back up. Look at the cat. Look at how you caught it. You literally caught him in a I got drafted. Damn it, man. And he's our guy, so I got to support him. I got to see what he's going to do. He's our guy.
Him. You got to support him.
Yeah, we got to be real. What up, chat? What up, brother Tim? We got to support him.
Cleveland did not go Shador Sanders. They took the running back out of Ohio State.
Oh my God!
Cleveland's got to building himself a nice little offense. But where does Shador go, man? Because like I said, I don't see him if he doesn't get taken by the Raiders. I don't see the next team I see is the maybe the Saints at 40, and maybe the Jets at 42, and possibly the Cowboys at 44.
I'm telling you right now, for all the talk about Shador, regardless of whatever was said or what you think, if that man's not going to be motivated, then I don't know who else is going to be motivated. Because this is something that you talk about putting the battery in somebody's back, as we say. Yeah. Like, come on, man. Like, he even liked a post by some Giants fan bashing the Dart pick over him, and it's like, listen, we don't know. I'm not an NFL scout. I'm not a GM. No. I don't even know as much football as our cult leader over here, but I just find it hard to believe that the guy who was rated number 2 quarterback prospect, basically for like a year, it was between him and Ward, then Ward edged him out, but he was number 2. I just don't understand how he's fallen so far.
How he's fallen. I mean, it's a serendipitous fall, and it's like, I don't know. I talked about it yesterday, but we have a little channel news we'll talk about for a moment. James already knows the question. I'm gonna ask a question to the chat, and whoever gets the question right, I'm gonna give. Oh, look what I got! Whoever gets the question right, we're giving away a Super Bowl ring. We're gonna give the Eli Manning replica ring away if you get this question right. Okay, you ready? Everyone, get ready. Here we go, guys. Wait till James was done his drink. Okay. Bob Papa,
Oh,
Carl Banks, and
oh,
Online Big Blue. What do they have in common? You get that right, you're going to win the Eli Manning replica Super Bowl ring.
boom.
Boom. And I'm going to say this one more time. These three names, what do they have in common? Carl Banks, Bob Papa, Online Big Blue.
And don't say they're Giants fans.
And don't say, well, that could be a guess.
It could be.
That could be a guess. We still have Miami Dolphins here on the clock at 37 with the 5th pick in this round. Guess it right. You saved my ass from Chat Sports and Bad Dog. I love this one. This is a good one. Linebackers. No, I was a safety. He says, "Oh my God, you're gonna join that. You're gonna join the group. Come on."
Oh, David.
I'm gonna say it again. Sort of. I'm gonna say it again. Here we go for the ring. With this ring, Ivy Wed, Bob Papa, Carl Banks, Online Big Blue. What do those three all have in common? Oh, Guilty has it right. They are all beyond believe.
Woo! Bang.
Officially, Guilty. Send me an email at onlineBigBlue.com, onlineBigBlue.com, and I will send you the ring. We just signed today. We are all going to be on the same network, I guess you could call it, with Believe.
Mm.
You know, you have the show with those two knuckleheads, and I guess Believe wanted to balance it out. So
hey, you need balance in life, man.
They came after the kid, and they were like, "We need you." And normally I said no, but I was like, okay. then they sent me this thing, this 38-page thing. I'm like,
paperwork. Yeah, you got to read that.
No, not even the paperwork. It was all the things I had to do. And I'm like, well, maybe this was a big mistake. But we're going to send you the ring. Make sure you email me at tim@onlineBigBlue, tim@onlineBigBlue.com. Starting in the next couple of weeks, you're going to catch us on Believe. Every place that Believe also pushes out their podcasts, all some of these other sports sites, like Alton Sports and all these other places, we're going to be all through there as well. So I think that's going to start. We just signed the agreement today, so it should probably start within the next, I don't know, 3-4 days. So,
yo, man, congratulations, man.
Well, thank you. I'm just wondering if Papa and Banks are going to like send me a present.
You made a real impression when we went to the rookie symposium.
Mr. Bruce, we're gonna drop Mr. Bruce in too, as we were doing breaking news about here on Online Big Blue. That we're
was that Brother Bari?
That we're gonna be. He couldn't get in yesterday.
James?
He couldn't get in yesterday. Let me go through a couple things here real quick. I want to make sure I get the chats. J Sports Cards. Chat Sports puts you to sleep. All they do is drink. James.
Hold on. On that note,
let's everyone have a drink. I'm not drinking this evening.
A little cognac for the throat. Thank you.
Had a little bit too many libations last night with Big L, so I'm not going to be drinking. I'm not going to be drinking. Dan says, "Oh wow, hell yeah." Oh, that's great news. Let's see. James says, "Where we put the part to Believe group?" I don't know yet. Definitely a big mistake. Which one? Me going to Believe or just the draft? Davey says, how do you know Abdul Carter was the highest picked linebacker since Lawrence Taylor, the first linebacker picked in years? Truly number 56. Wasn't Lawrence Taylor was taken second overall, wasn't he?
He wasn't number one?
No, George Rogers.
Oh.
The running back.
Yeah, no, I think he was definitely in the top 3.
Yeah,
I think he was 2.
I couldn't remember if he was 2 or 3 on that. Moet says, "Hey, not a Dart fan, but Sanders is dropping like George McFly." Hello, McFly. Let's see here. We have the smartest and greatest GM of all in the NFL. We do. Mr. Alvarez also says the Manning influence with this team when Eli isn't even the Average making me from it.
It's crazy, man.
We got to hear the annoying tank for Archie Kraft for the next 2 years. I mean, really.
I love Eli, but the Manning influence on this organization it's starting to get a little weird.
It's getting weird to the fact that
for real,
most fans towards the end of Eli Manning's tenure, probably the last 5 years, wanted him gone. They didn't want to hear. They didn't want to hear anything from him. They didn't want to know anything from him. They thought, I love this. They thought we ruined the team because of the fact that we tried to get weapons for Eli Manning to continue his career, to take us after that 2011 run. I don't know who that sounds like. Tim, how much Pop is paying you? No, Papa's not paying me. They're paying me. Papa, they're probably gonna. Oh, and I love it. This is the best part about this belief thing. This is the best. This is what I hardly ever believe. We're actually gonna have guests.
No, you're gonna actually talk to Carl Banks.
We're actually gonna have guests. I was like, really? You're gonna put him on this train wreck? It's like, good luck. It's like, good luck with that one, guys. Oh, it's Carl Banks. I'm Carl Banks Jr. now. Abdul is undersized for a 4-3. Guys, I didn't get to hear your complete reactions with Abdul Carter, and I'm going to start with Jabari on the bottom here. The crowd, like I said, was kind of muted at the stadium. You weren't even sure at this point in time that they even picked, anyone yet at 3, and it was Abdul Carter. Now, I don't know if it was more because of the shock that there wasn't any shock that we took Abdul Carter, because it's been speculated by so many people, or the fact that fans are just like, okay, whatever. But what was your initial reaction when you finally heard that we took Abdul Carter?
I wasn't that surprised. That's one. Because that's the pick that everybody was talking about. So I wasn't too surprised about it. However, it was. To even right now, this was my first question, was just in general, was just like, well, what about Shedeur Sanders? And then I'm like, okay, if we trade up and get Shedeur, then it's like, all right, no problem. But then we took Dart, and maybe I'm not watching college football as everyone else, but to me, wasn't Shedeur Sanders like better than Jackson Dart? Like, to me, Jackson Dart literally looks like a like, it's kind of like,
I mean, like, what are we supposed to say?
Like, when I look at Shedeur Sanders, I'm like, okay, he has the mobility, he has the pocket awareness, but he has the ability to drop out. Like, even if you watch, and I know you even say, Tim, don't watch their highlights, but even if you watch their highlights, most of Jackson Dart's highlights are within the pocket, and our offensive line is doo doo. So it's like it's like it doesn't make sense to me why we would.
Wait a minute, we have our first guest in from Believe. I can't believe this. We have our first guest, ladies and gentlemen. You know him well.
Yeah, it's me. I'm not gonna.
Oh my God! Yo, come on, man. Yo, I can't even deal with that today. I swear. Yo, did y'all see there's a YouTube short of Abdul Carter and the Dart dapping each other up, embracing. I'm telling you, I just sat there and watched it with my girl, and I said, damn, that's the guy who wants to wear number 56. He doesn't look that much bigger than the quarterback.
He's not, and that's
like,
we just Juan had the comment right here, and this is why I was picking this up. Abdul is undersized for a 4-3. Because honestly, you're probably gonna and we got Henderson, the running back, was taken with the New England Patriots. We got the Chicago Bears on the clock at 39 with the 7th overall pick in the 3rd round, or whatever round we were in, 2nd round. You're not going to play him at linebacker, so you're going to probably run a some kind of stunted 4-3, almost like the NASCAR package. So you're either going to have to put him on the interior, or you're going to have to move. Juan wanted this. I'm sorry. You're going to have to move one of these guys.
Submitted for your approval.
into the front of the line, into the line.
Nobody needs to be afraid.
Now, think about that for a second, though. You run a 4-3. You're probably going to put Abdul Carter on the outside. You are then potentially going to have to move Kayvon Thibodeau or Brian Burns into the interior because you're going to keep Dexter Lawrence. And then you're going to have one of the other Ghost Brothers on the outside. So you have an undersized defensive line. I see that package, and I know more than likely they're going to over pursue. I'm calling a draw because I know none of them can tackle. And I know all you got in the backfield is McFadden, who doesn't fit the Shane Bowen defense. And McFadden, like I said, missed. He's never been a tackle. He hasn't. He doesn't love to miss. And you're gonna have Bobby Okereke, who's already slowing down at 30 years old. If last year was any indication, smart quarterbacks are going to see that formation. I always go back to, and I know no one likes to go back to this, so I'm going to go back to this, and everyone's going to shut up and listen for a minute. 85, the 46 zone, this demonstrative defense that Buddy Ryan put together, and it was a collection of talent on that defensive line from Richard Dent to Hampton, but they also had the secondary to go along with it, and the linebackers with Wilbur Marshall and Singletary. They basically had a Pro Bowl defense. And then people will say, well, the Giants are creating that line. Well, the problem is that freaking line with people like Dent and Hampton, they were huge. And not only could they go after the quarterback, they could do this one other funny thing. Stop the run. And then they had a linebacking core behind them. And even with all this talent, this collective talent, the 46 zone really was only prominent for one season. Why? Because NFL quarterbacks figured out if they are rushing 7, that means there's only 4 guys in the secondary, which means if I go 3 wide receiver set and I pick up the blitz and I pick up the stunt, I got a guy one-on-one, if not completely open, somewhere else on the field. And then people always talk about, well, we're going to NASCAR. We're going to NASCAR. I'm going to shut you up about that too, motherfuckers. The problem is this. Matthias Kiwanuka could play the run. Justin Tuck could play the run. Osi Umenyiora could play the run. JPP could play the run. Michael Strahan, when he first came into the league, people forget this, was not a pass rushing specialist. But what was he good at?
Stopping the run.
Playing the run. Come on, guys. That part was interactive. Playing the run. So now you have 3 defensive linemen, one that we still don't know how his shoulder or his foot is, and you're going to be an undersized line going up against the likes of that Philly line, that rebuilt Washington line, and that always dangerous Dallas line in your division for 6 weeks. Damian Jackson says, my friends bully me for being a Giant fan.
They should.
I'm gonna start. I gotta go to R. Kelly here in the closet. That'd be you, James.
I am in the closet. I'm ashamed. I am.
I'm gonna tell you this right now, James, and I know how manly you are, but that is one colossal bag collection.
You have no idea.
Do you coordinate every time you go out to work? Is that what that is?
I'm gonna be real with y'all. You have no idea how much fun she's having in this room, putting
I got
bags and shoes. Bags and shoes.
What did you think initially? Because, like I said, you and I we talk every day, but we don't talk every day with everyone here. So. Because you know what? All you idiots never gave me your cell phone number, so how can I put you in the group chat with me and James? Sorry.
Get involved.
I love everybody.
I'll put my number in the group chat somewhere.
I was joking. Just send me your number.
Yeah, gotcha.
Just email me you got my email. Just email me your number. We'll put you. We don't really have a group chat. We always.
I got you.
We always bullshit. So if you want to be in the bullshit group here, come on down.
Come on down.
But what did you think, James? I didn't get to see you, but what was your initial reaction to, we also have Luther Butler III out of Missouri going over the Chicago Bears at 39. We have the New Orleans Saints on the clock. When did the Rams pick? Because you're going to be jumping up soon to get Jackson Dart. But James, what was that initial reaction that you had to the Abdul Carter? We're going to get to Jackson Dart in a few minutes, but
so you want my reaction to Carter or Dart?
Carter first. We're going to get to Dart in a
Carter
minute.
first. I mean, allegedly he's one of the 3 or 2 blue chip prospects in the entire draft.
I actually agree with that, though.
Okay, so if we're going with that consensus, then we got a great player at number 3, hopefully. My only concern is the injury because, again, nobody has seen this kid work out because he's been hurt.
We're not allowed to. It's a secret.
And the only other concern I have other than the injury is there's a quick interview he did on, you go to YouTube, Bleacher Report. He's talking to Micah Parsons, one of his Nittany Lion brothers. I get it, but he says that he wants to wear the number 56. And I know you talked about that already, but that's...
But was that being facetious? Was that just being sarcastic? Was that are we going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, you know what, he must know the lineage of 56?
I'm going to be real honest. The older
my fault.
Would you say, Bari?
I said, why would you give anyone the benefit of the doubt on this team?
Because I have to. Because now I'm network.
Bari, he's gonna go gentrified on us soon, so we gotta get all our stuff out quick before.
No, wait. I'm getting fired. This is the best part of the contract. I can get released anytime. I'm getting fired like in 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say I wonder how long he lasted there, but that's a good thing. Congratulations.
The general consensus in the house is 4 days.
4 days? Nah, I give you a week. You got 2 weeks. You got 10 days. 10 days.
I got
10 days.
And there's 2 days right now that are weekends, so there's nothing. There's really nothing. Oh no, I have a Sunday stream. Oh yeah, I could screw it up. Okay, go ahead though. But no, the blue chip prospect. I want to talk about that for 1 second. I agree that he is probably one of the top blue chip prospects in the draft, 100%. But he doesn't fit the Giants, and the Giants are not in a position where they're built now and the way they've been the last 12 years to take best player available.
He's just too small, man. Like, numbers aside, game film aside, if I walk into a room and this is supposed to be one of the blue chip players, one of the best defensive players in the entire draft, he's a difference maker. When I saw him dap up Jackson, by the way, I'm going to call him wide of the mark. And I got that from Dom last night. So whenever you hear me go wide of the mark, I'm talking about Jackson. So I'll keep saying that. But when he dapped up wide of the mark, I was like, that guy's not that big. Like, JPP, he had some long, no offense, gorilla arms.
JPP
he could smack you from across the room.
He was a big man.
He was a big man. Michael Strahan was strong.
He was a big man.
Justin Tuck was strong. The smallest dude was OC, but he had lightning speed. So he's a blue chip player.
But wait a minute. You have to give him credit. He's built up his body. I have a picture of him after finishing one of his workouts. So you
stop that. He's got Yo, Barry, you see this?
He's got the
Barry, look at this. Come on, man. Who's that? Gandhi's cousin? Put that away. Stop that.
He's got the build, man. Come on.
That dude is not that big. That's the only thing I'll say. I hope for the best. I hope he's healthy and we got a real blue chip player. And, I hope for the best. I'll wait and see. But I will say he's not that big. That's all I'm going to say. He's not that big.
I think he will have an immediate. Oh, Tyler Schlug, whatever his name is, went to the Saints. So
where Tyler?
That's what Mr. Alvarez is saying right now.
Tyler Shug, yeah.
Do you know it would be such a Shane move to pick up Shedeur Sanders in like the 5th round? If he's there, that would be such a Shane move.
That would be. You know what? I would actually give Shane credit if he did that. Yes, a 6'3", 250. Yes, a 6'3", 250 chill daddy defensive end is too small.
Yes, the chill that. Yeah, that's not that big. That's my pop size.
What is the average size tackle in the NFL run? And then I'll let you Google it, Jill Dad, and you can get back to us. And even Tom says, yes, for defensive end, that is way too small.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. Yeah.
I love this, though. Abdul Carter is the prince of the almost sack.
Oh, my
But I
God.
do think Abdul Carter can be an effective pass rusher with the Giants. But
Do you?
yes, I think he can be an effective pass rusher with the Giants because of the fact that you are going to create matchups and mismatchups for him. The only problem is he's going to be a liability in the run game and in pass defense. But he can go out. He can go after the. He can use his speed to get after the quarterback. But the problem is this: a smart. And I talked about this with some of the Eagle fans at the bar last night. The thing is this: if I'm the Eagles and I'm Lane Johnson,
Saquon Barkley
if I'm going against Abdul Carter, and James and I, we've talked about this. If I'm going up against Abdul Carter to negate his speed, what am I doing? I'm pushing him wide. I'm coming out of my stance. I'm going a little bit more wide. I'm pushing him toward the sideline. And if he tries to cut it back in because of my size, I'm putting him on the dirt. I'm putting him to the turf. I'm just going to use my weight and just push him down. But there are going to be mismatches that they can. Well, I don't know if Shane Dable. I mean, I don't know if Shane Bowen can create it. But this would have been a better pick if Wink was still
here. The Wink.
It would have made a hell of a. That's like Paulson Adebo. It's a better pick. It's a better free agent sign if Wink is here. Banks was a better signing and a better pick because Wink was here. You don't
because Wink has more aggressive caller.
You don't have a defensive coordinator who is built for this type of rush because he doesn't groom corners. You have two press cover corners, man-to-man guys on the outside, and he runs a zone bend not break. we just don't fit. We don't fit. The pieces don't fit.
When have the Giants ever really when we've been our best is when we're attacking our defense, when we're on the prowl like a gang of hyenas, like that's when we're at our best. We don't do good when we're just sitting back and like we're like you said, bend but don't break. Like we're better when we're on the attack. That's in my experience being a Giants fan.
Does anyone have a opinion with Tyler going to the Saints 40? Mr. Bruce, you have any opinion on that?
I mean, honestly, I'm not as big. I'm not too. I don't know all all of the college players, So I'm just watching right now. I'm watching to see where Shador is gonna go, just to be like, wow, he went this far. So, I don't have really any opinions. I can't even lie to you. I'm not gonna bullshit nobody.
James, Tyler's 48, has 397 surgeries, and he's been in college since 1997. And he goes 40th to the Saints.
Well, I will say this. I did read something that allegedly Tyler was high on our draft board as well. And the Giants, it was a 3-man race. It was Shador, wide of the mark, and Tyler. And Tyler was actually, they were really allegedly, I don't know how true this is, but they were really thinking about taking him, and then somehow the dart wide of the mark moved ahead of him. So I don't know, but again, I read that not just us, but other teams had Tyler Shough as one of the best ready-made, could put him on the field quarterback prospects out there. Again, just prospects, because we don't know what these guys are until they actually play. But allegedly, he was high on a lot of guys' draft board, But I do find it still weird that he went before Shador, because a team like the Saints, if you have a guy who's a little smaller, like Shador could have been like a Drew Brees, guy likes to throw from the pocket. likes to throw from the pocket. He's not going to do a lot of running around. He's not going to run anybody over. And, accuracy is his game. Likes to move the ball down the field, has intangibles. But, Shador is still there and Tyler is gone. The biggest thing with him is the injury history, as you just alluded to. If I honestly think if he didn't have that, we could have taken him last night, honestly, based off what I read.
The Jets are on the clock now at 42. Does Papa Dion pick up the phone at 44, which is the Dallas Cowboys?
For who?
For Shador.
Well, didn't they
Does
just
Daddy
Dak?
Dion call up the Cowboys and say, hey, listen, you picked the kid. More than likely you're going to fire your new head coach in like 2 years.
And in a year or two, he's going to be gone.
And I could come in here and coach my son over in Dallas, where I am a hero, number 21.
Go ahead, Tim. Keep setting up them pins.
Setting up the pins because somebody's got to knock them down. Let's run to the chat real quick here. We got OGR Sports saying that's all we can do is wait and see. Unfortunately, wait, Tyler, what we got going on? DC sucks. Just like the town? Because I'm gonna have to call you out there and say no, DC does not suck as a town. Especially if you head down to DC, head down to Georgetown, go down to M Street. So we're not gonna say that. Tom says, let's hope Carter can play linebacker. He can't. He was an off-the-ball linebacker for 2 years at Penn State. He was average. Penn State lost a guy from the defensive line, a guy in the first round last year and a guy in the third. So they put him there at a necessity to take advantage of his speed. And I love it because OGR will always point out that, Parsons was only at Penn State for 2 years, and his freshman year he had 86 tackles and only started one game. No.
And OGR is what? He's a Penn State fan, correct, brother Tim?
He is a big time Penn State fan.
So he would know.
Davey says, yes, the Giants will be the cannot run on bunch. Oh, what we got here? OGR says, that's all you can do is wait and see, especially on prospects. Unfortunately, especially if you're not comfortable with the player that your team took. Buffalo traded up, and they're on the clock. The Buffalo Bills.
No, they took a defensive tackle.
They took
Saunders.
Sanders, I believe.
South Carolina.
Out of South Carolina, the defense tackle. We have the New York Jets on the clock. The New York Jets now, of course, have Justin Fields with that $20 million 1 year salary. Could this be a potential place? Or
But don't they still have your man from Florida State too? Or my?
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, but
they do have him, right?
They still have Travis.
So the Jets, in a weird way, are like, if they were to pick up Shador, just hypothetically speaking, technically speaking, for the future as far as quarterbacks, they actually have a couple prospects and things where they don't really have to worry about the quarterback position for a couple of years. If hopefully one of these guys would pan out, We
really traded up for Jackson. What the?
Yes, that's why I'm drinking my Hennessy, Barry. I'm only going to be on here for like another 10 minutes because I'm going to get nice and sauce tonight because I'm just so I swear to God, Tim, I love you. Barry, I love you. Everybody in the chat, I love you. And OGR is right. We have to wait and see what happens. I'm going to give the kid a chance because I like to give people a chance. I'm a very fair guy. But I'm going to tell you right now, it just feels like Daniel Jones or Zach Wilson 2.0, where the guy, we jumped up and took the guy because we were worried the Rams were going to take him, just like we took Daniel Jones because we were worried Washington was going to take him. And then this is also a guy that for a year, all you really heard about were Cam Ward and Shador Sanders. And then everybody else was in the pile underneath. And then somehow this guy, Dart, climbed out of the pile. And he's on par with Shador Sanders.
He climbed out of the muck. Oh, wait a minute. We have our first Believe guest. Ole, 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 ole.
Oh, Lex, you beautiful son of a biscuit.
OGR, would you like to read this super chat that I have on the screen?
From OGR Sports, Sanders isn't falling past the Rams. Book it. There you go.
I don't think he's getting past the Cowboys.
That makes sense too.
I think Daddy Dion picks up the phone, Says take
Yeah,
my
that does
kid.
make sense.
When your
And
coach
I
flings
think
out in
right-
2 years, I'll leave Colorado.
I think right now the Rams are in a. I like the Rams over the Cowboys.
Yeah, here we go. He's got the bottle going. What are we drinking there?
I see you.
What do we got, Mr. Bruce?
We got the exquisite Sutter Home.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's got some wine over there.
Ooh,
Oh,
a connoisseur. Oh, excuse
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Oh, we're sorry here. I mean,
Mhm.
I'll just I have something special too. It's called the Aquafine.
Oh,
It's actually French.
Coffee.
Aquafine. Okay.
Aqua.
We're just as sophisticated. Hold on, wait a minute. You always have to. They always tell you about this with wine. Got to
Gotta
smell the
drink it.
cap.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Ojo. I just lost my mind for a minute.
it's okay. I'm used to it.
I forgot what we were even talking about. We got the pick is in for the New York Jets. We got San Francisco 49ers at 11. We also have the Cowboys at 12. Then the Baltimore, the Indianapolis Colts, and we also have the Rams at 14. I think I see Davey sitting out in there. Davey, what are you doing, my friend?
Damn.
I'm just gonna see how long it goes before I figure it out. You have no volume. David, we were just gonna see how long it goes because you have no volume. Do you have the mic on?
Oh man.
Well, Davey, I think you're gonna have to try to bounce out and bounce back in again.
I wish we didn't have the mic last night when we made that pick. Damn it.
I'm gonna push you out. What you need to do is you need to jump. You have to kick yourself out and come back in again. So let's get Davey out and let's give Davey another chance to get back in again. The New York Jets pick is still in. Do we still have anyone on the clock here that's going on? Let's see. Your J Sports card says Tyler is so old. How old is he? When he farts, dust comes out.
Yo, Jay Sports Cars, I gotta give him a shout out. Last night he was coming up, like he was saying stuff like before, like I don't know what spy he had in the room of NFL but he just knew stuff was coming. Like shout out to him and shout out to Big Dom for staying up to like 3 a.m. Man, for real.
The Jet pick is in. It's Mason Taylor, the tight end at LSU. We have the San Francisco 49ers on the clock at 43, then the Dallas Cowboys at 12 at 44th, and then the Indianapolis Colts at 45, and then the Rams at 46, where the venerable OGR Sports says that's where Shador's going. That's where he's going to end up.
Where is he going?
That's the spot that I would like
to the Rams.
You know, he's not under pressure to start. Good coach, good system. You know, good wide receivers. It fits him like a glove, to be honest.
They're playing a dome, so you don't have to be outside.
Oh, Jimmy says that's Jason Taylor's son. Mason Taylor, the tight end from LSU. Jason Taylor, the former defensive end for the Miami Dolphins. I actually met Jason Taylor a bunch of times. You know, you want to talk about a guy that, because James was talking about a guy that you could perceive to be a skinny defensive end. Jason Taylor was one of these guys that if you initially saw him, you would kind of think to yourself, well, you know, I could see him being a football player, but because he was about 6'6", 250 pounds, 244 pounds.
Yeah, he was tall.
He was a tall guy, and honestly, he was an okay run defender at that defensive end position. But this is a guy that had 139 sacks over his career, and that's what he was built into Miami to do. That's why he was in Miami. What happened to OGR?
I don't know. Superman took him out.
I blinked. So that is interesting. That I did not know that was Jason Taylor's son. We have We have Alfred Collins, a defensive tackle out of Texas, going over. I actually like that pick. Going over to the San Francisco 49ers at the 11th overall pick in the second round, number 43 in total. Did not know that was Jason Taylor's son, but I do appreciate that.
Dropping. What the hell is going? This is ridiculous.
Yo, did you guys get the feeling last night that after we made our pick and the crowd wasn't ecstatic, as Tim and Big L reported live on the scene from play, did you guys get the feeling that a lot of other teams just made like not the sexy move but the smart pick?
You mean like the football decision?
I mean, the Eagles again. The Eagles won the Super Bowl in which they trounced the team that everybody was trying to call the New England Patriots, and they just stand pat, and they got a great prospect because again, we don't know until
they got a good linebacker in
just sitting there.
The 31st pick, I think was the 31st pick or 32nd. I can't remember which
32nd
pick. They got themselves a good. And the question is this: you're the Philadelphia Eagles. You don't need a linebacker. You don't. After what Zach Bond did, you don't need a linebacker and all the other linebackers they have. But you know what? He was best player available, and the Eagles are a good team, so they have the ability to stockpile players at the luxury. Thank you, James. To stockpile guys at positions.
It's crazy. Does the rich get richer? It's just extra sprinkles on the cone.
The Dallas Cowboy pick is in. I'm saying Shedeur Sanders. I am saying that Daddy Dion picked up the phone and said, Jerry, no, I'm going to say they're going to take this Donovan kid.
I was going to say, I like what Lex said about him going to the Rams. I can see the Rams, since they missed out on Jackson Dart, since they won him. But I like what Lex said. I think Shedeur is going to go to the Rams.
Wait, people actually wanted Jackson Dart?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes, and I also heard that the Eagles wanted to trade up and draft him in the first round too.
I heard that. Oh, you weren't kidding about that. I thought you were. Davey, do you have volume?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you. Wait a minute.
Hi guys, what's going on?
What up, Davey?
What's going on, Davey?
What? Can't hear you.
How's the sugar daddy? Did he take Shedeur yet?
No, the Cowboys are going to go. Cowboys went with Donovan somebody or other. It starts with an E is what I'm seeing here.
Maybe they locked Jerry Jones in the bathroom.
Jerry Jones is actually probably not even in the stadium tonight. Well, I mean, why would we want to be there if we were Jerry? Dan the man says, Howie has dirt on everyone in this league. Here we go, J Sports. That's what it is. Howie must have pictures of people. So
and video.
You are 2 picks away from the Ram pick. Now this pick number 46 was with the trade, I believe, with the couple not recently, but I think this was a swap with the Atlanta Falcons. I think this pick was for the. So why do we think, OGR, that Shedeur is a Ram?
Why? Because you have an aging Matthew Stafford. You need to bring in your predecessor. You don't have to rush him out and start him right away. And they have a, good coach, good system, and they play in a dome. I mean, there's always pluses there. So
there's always plus. Mr. Bruce, where do you think the Rams is a spot for Sanders?
It can be, especially looking at the fact that they have Puka, they don't have Cooper Kupp there anymore, but they have they have a decent offensive core. You know what I'm saying? And on top of it, it's like I feel they are the only team that's really out of everyone that could be kind of looking for a quarterback because someone else just got drafted as well. I forgot the team he went to, but I could see Shedeur going to the Rams, but that would piss me off because it's like we traded up to draft Dart and Sanders is falling this. It's just everything just doesn't make sense, but it is what it is.
Jimmy's got a good comment.
I have a question. Nobody you guys answered. Why Shedeur Sanders fell that low?
Well, if we're
I
not
feel like
allowed
that's a complicated answer.
If we're not allowed to answer, how are we supposed to answer the question? If we're not allowed.
Because he's
black. No one answered that question.
Oh, no one answered that.
Oh, no one understands.
I know why Shane didn't take him because he's not a safe pick.
All I'm going to say this, Davey, and I've talked about this before, and I posted it today. An NFL scout, what they said about Jackson Dart was he's aggressive, fearless, and perhaps at times too much. So he's a big personality, a natural leader, has the charisma that Dable needs in a quarterback. Now, the same scout said basically the same thing for Shedeur Sanders, but labeled him entitled.
Mafangul.
You know what I think of Jackson Dart? He's in a party of you know when you're in a party where there's a lot of women and they're all like fours. So he's the best fours that was on the party in the party.
But you picked out a 2 and fucked her.
But
Hey,
you know that
hey, Jabari, this is a
Yes.
family channel now.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Watch your fucking
Yeah,
mouth.
you gotta watch that, man.
Watch your mouth. This is a family channel.
I got you.
what's the difference? After a couple of beers, 2 and a 4, doesn't make a difference.
Mr. Jimmy
Yo,
has a wait, I got to get to Jimmy's point here because Jimmy's got a really good point here. The 49ers had a sneaky good draft, retooled the
Yeah.
defensive line. Malik Earl and the defensive tackle from Texas. They are ready for the NFC East. All power rushers, not finesse like the brilliant Giants. If you take a look what the San Francisco 49ers have done in this draft, he's right. They are going more towards the prototypical speed rusher. It's everything in the NFL is secular. Someone does something, everyone goes out and copies it. Everyone's thinking the Eagle model is to get these pass rushers. But if you take a look at the guys on the Eagles line, starting with Jalen Carter, these are big guys. These are guys that can get after the quarterback and do this one other thing. What we talk about is shut down the run.
stop the run.
So I mean, and to me, that's what in some ways that's what the 49ers are trying to. Jimmy's point, that's what they're trying to accomplish.
And I'll actually go one step further, Tim. I think because for years the league's always been about speed. Power's becoming thing. Look at the Eagles; they have the biggest offensive line and the best line. And what can they do? They can run the football. And what did they do all last year? Because everybody's getting undersized at each position, they bully.
Yeah.
And that's
I
what
think that
he's going to go to. It's going to go back to more of a power run. You're still going to have your passes, but I think you're going to see more and more Austin Genty, Saquon Barkley. You're going to see a shift back to the running back.
I agree.
Austin Genty.
Well,
Yeah, I'm going to pick him on my fantasy league. He's going to be my first overall pick.
All right, OGR Sports on the clock right now. 14th pick, 46th overall, second round. You have to do this. You have to do this dramatic build-up on the clock with a trade from the Atlanta Falcons. Is the Rams, the LA Rams? Is it still Los Angeles Rams, or did they move again?
No, it's still there.
I just had to check.
I get confused too. But Lex, you know what? OGR gave one of the better explanations on why Shedeur might have dropped last night. I'm not going to say it as eloquently as he did, but he actually named football reasons, aside from the fact that he didn't interview well, which that does matter. Like if you go to a job interview and the guy didn't like your attitude, it does matter, but I do think he's going to go. I think the Rams is a great spot, there's a high chance he goes there, but and I'm keep harping on it. That's why I'm going to go soon. But the guy was rated the number 2 quarterback prospect for a year. He can break down defenses. He likes to throw from the pocket, and he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in this entire draft. If that guy looked like Davey or Tim or Lex, he would be gone.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It's crazy, man.
That's the thing that I really.
Jay Sports Cards coming out saying the Rams are going offense and selecting Oregon tight end Terrence Ferguson at 46.
Well, he probably knows because he was on point last night. Sports Cards.
Oh, absolutely.
I've said it before. I don't see Shedeur to the Rams. The Rams are in a 2-year window of a build now mode, and they need to put pieces in place to get hopefully back to the Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford before he retires.
So guys, what's the odd that Mr. Sanders is going to be Mr. Irrelevant? Irrelevant.
0. Someone will take
Yeah,
him
he's
in the
gonna
third
get drafted before then. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, someone will take Shador in the third round. Let's see here. Let me get back to
Who's the
in the
someone?
chat. Let's see. I like White Lotus right here. Sanders to the CFL.
Damn.
Jimmy says, believe it or not, this happens because his jersey was retired. They have to humble him. Oh yeah, that's true too. All speed to power. Like I said, the league is a copycat league.
That's true.
You know, and that's the thing. Now everyone wants a Saquon Barkley. Now everyone wants that golden jacket guy. You know, at running back. Before,
You know what
just
happens to a fast?
year ago, nobody wanted a running back.
You know what happens to a fast object when it runs into a brick wall? It stops.
Have you ever seen the movie Buckaroo Banzai?
Yes.
Okay, what happened when Buckaroo Banzai took the rocket car through the wall? He went to the 5th dimension.
You're talking.
Okay.
I can't believe you brought that up.
He went because it's Buckaroo Banzai in the 5th dimension. That's the whole name of the movie.
Oh my god. Yo, you just dated us.
I know, but it was just on it was just on the channel. I forget what channel. It was just on like 3 days ago.
Oh my god!
I had to stop everything and watch Peter Weller as Buckaroo Banzai.
Tim, where do you think Shador is going then?
And
I still think if he doesn't go to the Rams, I don't think he's going to go to the Rams.
Yeah.
But he doesn't go to the Rams. I still like Dallas. I still like the Raiders. Because if you take a look at the way it breaks down, it's the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Bengals, the Seahawks, the Broncos, the Titans, the Buccaneers, the Packers, the Chargers, the Bears, the Panthers, the Texans, the Ravens, the Lions, the Commanders, the Bears, the Chiefs, and the Eagles. I don't see anywhere he goes there.
Just don't let him go to Philly, man.
Tim, they're not the Commanders. They're the Redskins.
Hey, now.
Good point, Davey.
Would you?
No Commanders here.
No Commanders. It's the Redskins.
Yes.
What were you saying? What you saying, OG?
I was gonna say something stupid.
But go ahead. I say stupid shit all the time.
All right, go ahead, man. This is a safe space.
About Buckaroo Banzais and the aliens from the.
He just brought up Buckaroo Banzai. How many people listening to this weren't even born?
They're all Googling it going, what the hell's a Buckaroo Banzai?
Like, what is he talking about?
You know gonna come in and give us facts about friggin' Buckaroo Banzai. You know that's happening.
Oh, you know, well, that's why we gotta find T-Brad. Because T-Brad would know Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah.
Okay, for the younger kids, it's like if the chicken jockey ran through the wall in Minecraft.
Oh wow, that's a pretty good comparison.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Minecraft. That's my son's thing.
Well, it was all part of the movie with Jack Black. So if they ran through the ether portal, whatever the hell it's called, the ender portal, the ender portal, the chicken jockey. Okay, so the chicken jockey's really fast. So if you quick, like Buckaroo Banzai went through the ender portal, that's how the defenses are now.
Tim, may I ask you, what are you wearing?
Well, that's a little personal, but right now I'm going commando.
Oh God.
He's wearing Diamonds by Elizabeth Taylor.
I'm wearing. I couldn't find my pants, Mr. Bruce. I have to hold up your hand.
He's a kept husband.
Because now I gotta ask you, and I hope that none of my fantasy.
It was Terrence Ferguson went to the Rams.
Is nobody gonna take Shador?
Like, so wait a minute.
We're gonna take him in the 5th round. We're gonna have 4 quarterbacks.
Wait a minute. He didn't go to the Rams.
Stupid giant Twitter post.
So all the people out there on Twitter that told me that the Giants had to make this move because they were going to grab Shador Sanders. The Rams were going to grab Shador Sanders. Knock, knock. Who's there? Not you, because you're morons. Sorry.
It's like where's Waldo? Where is Sanders going to go?
We could have had Shador Sanders and all of our draft picks. I'm just going to say that.
If he doesn't go 48, I don't see him going in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we could have had him and all of our draft picks, guys.
We could still get him at 65 there, James. I doubt it, but I mean, it's still a possibility. And
Imagine us taking 2 quarterbacks
Washington
in the same
Commanders
draft.
Why not? You take a look at you go back to the RG3 draft with Kirk Cousins and RG3. You go back to the Heath Schuler draft with Heath Schuler and Gus Frerotte. Hell, you go back to Drake May and Joe Milton.
But did they trade up to get?
If we didn't have Mr. Sierra on the team, I would actually think it's a possibility we would take Sanders because he's dropped so low that it's kind of like there's no. It's like, hey, we took him in the 4th, 3rd round. It's like, whoa, like it's not hurting nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen, for selfish reasons, I want them now to draft Shedeur Sanders because I got a great soundbite that starts with Ebony and Ivory.
Stop it!
Come on, Jake.
Oh, stop it!
On.
Stop it,
guys.
Wait,
what's the best tight end now? Who's the best tight end available?
Available.
What's the tight end?
Oh,
somebody that we won't draft.
Will Johnson, the corner out of Michigan, goes to the Arizona Cardinals. That's
a good pick.
That's an interesting pick. Will Johnson was at one point in time, anointed, kind of like Shedeur Sanders, as the best or second best corner in this draft. Injuries derailed his career a little bit at Michigan, but with the 15th pick overall in the second round, 47th, I should rephrase it, 47th overall, that's actually a good pick for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Who are I'm not going to say starved for defensive backs, but he's a good fit for what they do in Arizona.
Yeah, that's a great pick at that position. As far as he fell, like, poof. I feel like everybody's like guys are falling to them, but we traded up to get a guy that nobody was really pining for. My God, I'm so upset.
Hey, we're not the stupidest team. We're the second stupidest team.
Who's the first, Davey?
Atlanta.
Why? They signed Cousins and drafted Penix.
Come on. They traded a future 1st round pick to get this defensive end. Come on.
We let Saquon and Xavier McKinney walk for
Atlanta's defense, quiet as kept, was not horrible last year.
Only one went to and went on to win a Super Bowl. And the other one's an all not even a Pro Bowl or All Pro, All Pro NFL team. This is let's see.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying we're not. We're the second stupidest team. That's all.
See here, we have a trade. It looks like now
Kayvon Thibodeau. We traded him.
Houston looks like they're on the clock. I thought it was going to be the Raiders. So I mean, if you take a look at the way this breaks down, unless the Raiders go now, the Raiders down to on the 26th in this round, 58th overall, with this trade with Houston. I mean, again, if you're looking for a landing spot for Sanders, it's going to be maybe 58th pick, 26th overall in the second round to the Raiders, but Lord only knows.
I mean, it's not a bad decision by the Raiders. If you're going to stand pat and get Shedeur, and you know that there's no team that's going to take him, there's no threat of a team even taking him. I mean, keep sliding as far as you can. Acquire draft capital.
The interesting thing about this Shedeur Sanders pick is, and this is kind of why I wish the Giants would have played the waiting game a little bit, even if as you're falling in this draft, as he's falling, you know what is also falling?
His price,
his salary,
right?
So
and that rookie contract,
you're on a rookie,
and he's going to be motivated.
You're gonna you'll have a 4-year window with the kid. You lose the 5th-year option, but like Jalen Hurts when he went to Philadelphia, they won within that 4-year window, and then Howie just put together a contract that I still love Giant fans with that contract. They looked at it and go, "Did you see that? We only gave Daniel Jones 160. Gave this guy $300 million."
But
yes,
he's actually
and they
good.
also gave him $300 million.
I say he's actually worth it
with all the money up front. And his average salary doesn't hit $30 million till like 2028.
And they won a Super Bowl after that. So hey, guess what?
Void years.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you. All right, but let's see. Made by the Giants is I think Donovan Easy moves more than Joel Carter. Dan the man says my biggest critique of Sanders was his decision making under duress. Outside of that, a lot to be liked physically and mentally. Doesn't give a shit about the interview and the combine. Well, I think that's hurting him right now.
By the way, I thinking Shador Jackson is Shador Sanders is lucky that he didn't go to the Giants because Dabo's going to be fired. Shane is going to be fired. He's going to be wind up being a quarterback with some general manager that's not going to like him, and he's going to be mustered out from the Giants really fast.
I have to agree.
Tim,
You know what I mean?
Yes, Mr. Bruce.
I got a question for you all, right? Because
Sure.
I want to piggyback off of what he just said. Let's say the Giants go, I don't know, 10-7, right?
Okay.
And they make a wild card or something, and they make a wild, because you never know with Russell Wilson. Do I think that we're gonna be a Super Bowl? No, but let's say we go like 10-7.
Wait, I know Russell Wilson 2-6 for a Pittsburgh team his last 8 games.
Right. I'm just saying like I'm not expecting for us to go 10-7, but I'm saying let's say we do, and let's say we barely make it enough for people to go, because you know how stupid Giant fans are. If we were to go 10-7, people will go, oh well, no, Joe Shane is cooking. Hey, we're in the kitchen. Do you think that
We're in the kitchen.
Do you think Dabo and Joe Shea? Because think about it. Because then not only are people going to say we went 10-7 and where we might be in a position forward, but then people are going to say, because they said that Joe Shane wanted Shador and Dabo wanted Darth. So people are gonna say, "Oh well,
Right.
Dabo got their guy. Dabo got his guy." So we went 10-7. Like I'm saying, if let's say, because listen, when the Giants went, what did we go when the year before we signed Daniel Jones? We went what, like 9-7,
9-7-1.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, the tie. Holy crap.
The tie.
Right. So, and mind you, I think that would be probably the worst situation for the Giants, because if let's say we do get to 10-7 or to a similar record to that, and then God forbid we win a fucking we win a
Family Channel.
I'm so sorry. When we win a wild card, a wild card game or whatever, do you think that Dabo and Mero, not Mero, Dabo and Shane still get fired if we win like 10 games or something like that? Will it?
No.
Or
no, they win 10 games, they're not getting fired.
I have a question. Let's just say Dabo and Shane gets fired. Which other loser is gonna take this job?
I don't know.
That's hard to say.
We still haven't played. We still hadn't played this season yet.
If I'm a Giant fan, and if I'm a GM, I wouldn't take the Giants job, because I know who's in charge. His name is Mara. It's not Shane. And whoever is gonna take the GM job is gonna do the same job as this Shane guy, because no one's gonna allow anybody to free.
Oh, that's a nice looking dog. That's a nice looking dog.
How much is that dog?
We should have let him make the draft picks last night.
Honeypot, where are you at? Honeypot doesn't know he's on. Honeypot.
How much is that dog in the window?
Honeypot.
What's going on?
What's going on? We saw the dog.
It's at this field, this little elementary school near my house. Got to train them.
So you letting the dog run?
Oh yeah.
So I have a feel. Oh, there's 2 of them.
Oh yeah, I got 2, German Shepherd and a Belgian Malamese.
Oh, all right, all right, all right. I know you're pro. I mean, I kind of know where you are with these picks, but I want to get your thoughts with Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart.
Yo, Abdul Carter, that is like, he's a funky. He's small, right? He's not big at all.
He's not a big guy. No, he's not. For a defensive end, he's not what I would refer to as a he's not, no. I'm trying to be nice here.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I thought maybe a trade back, but
Tim.
Yes, sir.
I got you. The size of Abdul Carter. Just call him. He's off the ball linebacker. There you go.
There we go. Okay, he wasn't. Yes, he is an off the ball linebacker. Let's just call it like it is. Let's just. OGR's right. OGR's a Penn State fan. He knows he's an off the ball linebacker.
They're gonna play.
It was a little tough to watch that, and then we traded back up for Jackson Dart. So now I'm just kind of like, I guess wait and see, yo. I guess wait and see.
Well, right now we got the Seattle Seahawks on the clock. We had the Cincinnati Bengals take Knight, the linebacker out of South Carolina, which is actually a kind of a little bit of an interesting pick. We have the pick is in for Seahawks. We have the Denver Broncos picking 19th in this 51st overall. So we have to kind of see where we're going to go with there. Honeypot, what would you have done with the? I mean, would you, if the Giants didn't trade up for Dart? Would you have, and they still took him in the second round? Would you have a problem with that?
Nah, it's the trade up for me. It was a little funny. Like, we're like 5 picks away. Like, just wait. Wait and see. But like everybody says, man, if you want your guy, you got to go get him, yo. You got to go get him. Yo.
They had conviction.
The other reason is we can't be. I mean, we're not going to see him this year. We shouldn't, which is that's the other way. That's the way I'm looking at it. Maybe we're starting to do the QB thing the right way, where we're not just going to throw him in to start. We'll just let him sit back. Jordan Love it, Aaron Rodgers it, Patrick Mahomes it. I'm not saying he's going to be any of that. I'm just saying, let's take a different approach. We tried to throw Daniel Jones in there. We weren't like, oh, he's going to sit. We wanted to throw him in there. But I liked his interview, though. Yeah, I like that he kept saying my development. Yeah, this for my development. Yeah, I'm going to do this for my development. At Ole Miss for my development. Whatever the Giants have to do for my development. I like that. I like he was saying that. That's the only thing I took from the interview. But a little shocked. I didn't want Abdul Carter. Like, it's just too much. It's just that Micah Parsons bullshit, and he's not even, I'm not a fan of him either. Like, I don't think he don't stop the run good at all. Micah Parsons, he don't stop the run at all.
I think he, and I don't, maybe OGR can tell me I'm wrong, but I do think Parsons plays the run with more fluidity than Abdul Carter.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but that's all. But he don't play it like Myles Garrett, or.
No, they're I mean, no, but
I'm saying, do we really want a player like that? Like, is that what? But even like back to what you say, so we got to make packages for the 3rd overall pick. What the fuck? No, they should be making the defense. I mean, the offense should be making packages for him to stop.
He should be on the field 85% of the time. He shouldn't be sitting there. We shouldn't be sitting there. Well, we have to develop a NASCAR package for the 3rd overall pick.
Yeah, it's that. See, that fell into the NASCAR package. We didn't. Try to, you know what I'm saying? That just.
That's actually a great point.
Yeah, we fell in
when Spagnola came up with NASCAR. It was more it wasn't out of necessity. It was out of what they had talent wise.
Let's do this. Let's try this. Let's try what we have. Let's try this package. And it worked out. Oh, that shit was nice. And Madden, you had the NASCAR package. Anyways, that's whatever. But
it's not like they drafted guys to develop the NASCAR package. The people they had personnel wise fit the package. They fit the package.
They created it because of what they had.
Yes, but I think that's actually an excellent way to put it.
Hey, you hit it on the head too, man. We're gonna have 3 motherfucking Ghost Brothers, yo. That's gonna piss me off, yo. That's gonna piss me off. If it's a 4-minute drive, slant, hitch, slant, deep ball. Like,
Yeah.
whoa. Where's the pressure? Like, what is going on right now? Like, I don't know, but I did see this other thing too, where they were like, hey, they did take who did we take? Was it OC, and then we took Matthias the next year, or we took Justin, or we took Strahan, or something like that, I don't know. He's real small to me,
He is an undersized defensive end. To OGR point, he's an off the ball linebacker. He has the size as an off the ball linebacker.
Jordan Mailata, that big fucker. That nigga's like 5 of him.
Okay, wait a minute. We're a family channel now.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, he's Jordan Mailata, the big ex-rugby star. Mailata.
There you go. There you go. I like that better.
Yeah. He probably ordered the same way to him at Arby's last night.
Going to the Arbs. Everybody loves the Arbs, but honey, I'm going to drop you because I got a couple other people that want to come on.
You good. The draft, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I totally hated it. I'm not gonna say I totally loved it. More of a wait and see what it's gonna hit on.
You know what? I think you nailed it right there. It's more of a wait. It's going to be a wait to see approach. Arroyo went the big tight end out of Miami went to the Seattle Seahawks. Tight ends seem to be running off the board a little bit right here in this second round, so we're kind of interested to see that. But honey pot, I appreciate you coming on, and be safe with the dogs. Oh, OGR. And then there was 2. I'm going to say something, and you're a Penn State guy, so I could say this.
Yep.
I could say this. Todd Blackledge sucked, even though we won a national championship. But I'm going to say this. I am not, and I think there are too many people that have misconceptions that I am against Abdul Carter as a player.
No,
I think. Well, let me finish, and then I'm going to get your opinion on this. And I already know what your opinion is going to be because you're already kind of answering it. I'm just saying that I still think he is going to have an impact in the pass rush for the Giants this season as a rookie, but he just didn't make sense for this team the way it's currently constructed, and what you did 3 years ago on the draft, and what you did picking up the $16 million option and trading the assets for Brian Burns, giving him $120 million, then signing the dude from Dallas. We didn't need another undersized defensive end who's not a linebacker. It makes more sense to pick a position or trade back, get value, kind of like what Cleveland did, instead of forcing a fit. You've seen both Parsons and Abdul Carter play because you're more of a Penn State fan. And you probably watch more games than I do. Now I know Parsons says, "Hey, listen, he's me. He's going to be great. He's going to do this." But with those comparisons, do you see anything Parsons-esque in Carter that's going to fit in this Giant defense and kind of have the impact that Parsons has? Parsons is on the field 3 downs. I don't see that with Carter. Is he going to have the Parsons effect that the Giant fans have been clamoring for since we let him go by and we took Kadarius Toney?
I want to say yes, but
All right. Well, that wraps that up.
No. I want to say.
Oh, you want to say yes?
I want to say yes, but the reality of it to me is this: it makes too much sense with what you're saying as far as him not being a fit for the system. I think going somewhere else would have been a better fit, and the Giants should have traded back. Absolutely. Do I believe that Abdul Carter? I think Abdul Carter will be more impactful than Kayvon Thibodeau. I do. But that's me being a Penn State fan, also kind of being a homer, believing that, he did whatever he was asked to do at Penn State, and he somewhat excelled at it, except for the off-the-ball linebacker. But I think they tried him out 2 years at off-the-ball linebacker and said, hey, it's really not your position. You're better off on the line. You can point to it and say out of necessity, and maybe some Penn State fans would agree with you, but I saw what they had behind Carter. It wasn't that bad. But yeah, I just think they moved him there because they felt he would be more impactful, and he was.
Right, exactly. I'm gonna give you I'm not going to tell you the player, but I'm going to give you a physical mock-up of a player. I'm going to tell you his sack totals, and I want to ask you a question. So this player was 6'4", 254 pounds, was in college for 3 years, had 32 and a half sacks, 10 and a half his last season, a total of 176 tackles, was a speed rushing guy that the Giants drafted, had, I believe, 4.5 sacks his first season with the Giants. He was an undersized defensive end that the Giants used in packages to create mismatches to get to the quarterback. And he was effective for that one season until the league figured out that he was a speed rusher with one move, and he kind of fell by the wayside. And this is a guy that, we didn't take in the first round. It's not we didn't take a second. I believe we took it in the fourth or the fifth, is O'Shane Ximines. O'Shane Ximines had 10 and a half sacks at Old Dominion his last season as a speed rusher, but then quickly figured out in his second year he couldn't do what he did in college because NFL linemen are too smart. But the issue is this is a guy we took like in the fourth round that has the same attributes, the same type of first nice jab step, that first break on the speed, but he never developed in anything because when you're an undersized defensive end going up against guys 330 pounds, some of them who are just as quick, it just doesn't translate into the NFL. So my question is, you take a look at someone like O'Shane Ximines, you take a look at Abdul Carter. Where is the difference between the two in reference to where they're each going to fall, or where they fell into their career? And is Abdul Carter really going to sit there and be better than O'Shane Ximines was, when basically they have the same attributes, they have the same speed? Now, of course, Carter played at a different level at Penn State, but you're kind of looking at very similar, kind of scary, similar players.
No, I'm not going to argue there. I think at times, to me, I've watched more Carter. I've seen a little bit more than just the dip and rip. I've seen a spin move inside, but for the most part, he's got a lot of work to do. Is he willing to put his head down and work? Where I can't speak to the work ethic of O'Shane Ximines. Was he willing to try and become something more than what he was? I have to believe if you were going to take somebody third overall, right, wrong, or indifferent, that you believe he has the traits to become not necessarily a gold jacket wearer, but a guy who's going to contribute for your team for a long time, and not just take what you think, is BPA. I would hope the Giants would have that sort of mentality. To us being the layman fan, no, we don't know, because we're going to sit there and say, oh, well, you look at our defensive coordinator's name escapes me. Right?
Shane Bowen.
We say he's not a fit for the system. I've got to believe that Shane Bowen's trying to evolve, because he's got to sign off on this pick. I mean, as a room, you have to agree on the draft.
Wait, did you watch Hard Knocks? Shane, what do you need to make your defense successful? 2 linebackers and a defensive tackle. What about Brian Burns?
I got to believe that he has. I hear you 100%. But I got to believe, as a room, you're talking and whatnot, that you believe that this guy's an asset to your team. Or why'd you draft him?
Because we're the Giants.
I'm trying to put a positive spin on things.
No, I'm listening to you.
I sat there for 32 picks last night with Dom, and there was a moment of silence when we took Jackson Dart. Like, T-Brad did not talk for 15 seconds. Just straight 15, because he was literally in shock. Because I got it wrong where we were going to take him, but I kept saying, and the Giants are going to draft Jackson Dart over Shedeur. It's going to happen. Because, Joe, I cannot tell a lie, Shane. You want to know the leak? The leak's Joe Shane. In the Giants front office. That's my feeling. There's nobody sitting there letting the information out. It's Joe Shane. He's got a big mouth.
New York State. Who actually had the question? David, I actually put in how to spell Buckaroo Banzai in the chat. So just it's Buckaroo Banzai and the aliens from the fifth dimension. Let's see, we already got that about the Raiders trading up. Let's see here. New York State of Mind says that's my real issue. They traded down for Dart. Well, they traded up for Dart technically. Would you have been? I asked Honeypot the same question. If we waited and we took Jackson Dart with the second overall pick in the second round, do you have an issue with that?
I don't have an issue with that. I don't even have them an issue trading up and getting Jackson Dart because at the end of the day, they had conviction and they went after their guy. Like, yeah, we don't like the pick, but at the end of the day, you asked Joe Shane to grow a set of balls, and for the first time in his entire career, right, wrong, or indifferent, he grew a set of balls.
Here's the problem. When you grow a set of balls, you can't be stupid with them.
You know, not all men are created equal. That's
you can't be a moron. You know, you can't go out and say, you know what, I'm gonna be a flashy guy. You go out and buy a Porsche and then run it into a wall. You know, I mean, that's.
Oh, I mean, even though we can confidently say he hasn't been, we've got to believe that you've been selected to be a general manager of a team. And yes, your track record is not very good at all. I've got to believe that you are smarter than me, a layman Giants fan. Even though it hasn't worked out.
You know what the sad part is there, Jared? I'm not believing that.
I don't. I do.
I think in some regards, I think there are certain Giant fans out there that literally could do a better job than Joe Shane.
I agree with you 100%.
Because Joe Shane to me is you know, we've said it before, he's this uncrustable eating motherfucker who thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. But normally when you think you're the smartest guy in the room, you're not. I mean, there was speculation, and I don't know if this rumor was true. I saw it on Twitter, and evidently it was a video, that Brandon Brown left the room when they made the Jackson Dart trade. So I don't know if that's true, but I'm just telling you that Joe Shane seems to not listen to other people at his own detriment. So if this was a pick for me that is a Shane pick, like Shane Bowen coming in, you hired this guy, you ask him what he needs, and then you don't give him anything. You don't give him either of his linebackers or defensive tackle. You go out and get Brian Burns and trade assets and then give him $120 million.
I mean, there's no disagreeing with that. I mean, do I believe the guy's a moron? I mean, who the hell eats Uncrustables?
Joe Shane.
Exactly. No offense to any eats Uncrustables in the chat. You have more brain cells. But hey, as a Giants fan, you know, like we always keep saying, it's a wait and see approach. I've got to believe that you know, you're in the NFL. You know, Brian Dable. You've coached. You've done this, done that. Dable or Joe Shane. You've risen to prominence, become a general manager of the team. I've got to believe you are smarter than OGR. That's all I got to say. And let's see, and let's hope they prove me wrong. I mean, I'm going to give Jackson Dart 3 years to prove me wrong. I'm going to give Abdul Carter 3 years to prove me wrong. That's all I can do, because I mean, do I think this is going to work out? No, I think we're going to be in the position we are now 5 years from now.
Chill, Daddy. It's the kinder, gentler OBB. He says there's no positive takes from anyone.
There's plenty of X posts that you can go look, and that they
mean from here. He means from here, because Chill Daddy's an idiot. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't gentle, I guess. He's a moron.
Tim,
you can't differentiate between negative takes and actual football talk. This is why I love our chat. And I would say 98% of the people that follow this channel and are in this chat, they're not just astute Giant fans. They're football fans. So if you can't understand that people have negativity after 12 years of mediocrity, and we kind of just repeatedly make the same mistakes. And I've said it before, the wreckage of Giants draft past litters the highway of this team for the last 12 years. And you see things, and Jackson Dart maybe wouldn't have gone in the 6th round last year. So just because something is the best doesn't mean it's the best, because of the fact that it may not, you weren't good enough to get drafted last year, but this year you are good enough to go in the 1st round. And it's not because your talent has changed so much and you were so immensely, you've reinvented yourself. No, it's the lack of options. The lack of options doesn't make you good or doesn't make you better. It makes you, wait for it, because you're a moron, available. Availability does not equal talent. Have Jackson Dart come. I gotta. That phrase.
Get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Availability does not make you the best player at the quarterback position. Does not mean you should trade up for him. You hope to God that he pans out, because if not, to OGR Sports point, who I think is smarter than Joe Shane, it's going to be 3 more years of mediocrity.
Unfortunately, I do believe that. But hey, I mean, I got to believe that they're smarter than I am, because you're an NFL GM and I'm not. So,
Mr. Moet says, everyone's bashing Giants. Sanders has not been picked by any of 31 teams. I'm not sold on Dart, but bro, Sanders has passed by multiple times. Let's keep it real. No, nobody's saying. I think, and I like you, Moet. I think so many people missed the point. The point is, you went up and got a guy. If you watched his film at Ole Miss, you're talking to the lineage of Eli Manning. You're talking. People are actually quoting Joe Judge, who's at Ole Miss, about how great Jackson Dart is. This is the same guy that could turn Daniel Jones into an NFL quarterback. But then we blamed him because we said he caused his regression.
Oh.
You can't have it both ways. I mean, you can't. Mike Glenn, I haven't seen Mike Glenn in a while. He says, I read the pre-draft analyst and got even more depressed about the Dart pick. I wouldn't want to sign him as an undrafted rookie based on that analyst. If you literally, OGR, this is actually kind of interesting. Have you seen any of the pre-draft reports for Jackson Dart before all of a sudden he became the glamour boy?
Not really, because I really didn't have Jackson Dart on my radar, to be totally honest. I knew Jackson Dart was climbing up boards. That much I knew was true. I just, you watch his film at Ole Miss. I mean, you only have to turn on the Florida, Kentucky, Georgia, and you've got all the information you need on Jackson Dart.
To Mike Glenn's point, I actually asked this question for a reason, because I saved some of the URLs for Jackson Dart's profiles from certain scouts before this was actually kind of directly after the season ended. Would you like to hear some of the things that scouts said about Jackson Dart?
I have a feeling I know a lot of the things, but yes, I am interested.
Deep ball accuracy becomes erratic when forced to drive the ball beyond 45 yards, particularly when mechanics aren't perfect. Sometimes the ball on clean pockets releases too early, needs to trust the protection and work through his progression, can get narrow under pressure, leading to some throws sailing high in critical situations. Production showed concerning dip against elite defenses, particularly when forced into obvious passing situations. That's kind of bad that when you're forced into a passing situation, people think you're not very good. Still developing the ability to manipulate defenders with his eyes, occasionally telegraphs his primary read. When forced to be a drop-back passer for any length of time, his production falls. Production dips noticeably against higher caliber defenses, struggling with consistency to move the chains or create big plays.
I'll sum it up beautifully. Though John Gruden sat in a room with him for an hour and then brought
I actually heard about this, but go ahead. I want other people to hear this.
And the one redeeming quality that he goes out and X and says is he likes Jackson Dart's toughness. Well, all quarterbacks are tough, John. That's the whole point of paying the position. because you need to stand in there and take the hits. That's what good quarterbacks do. So if the only redeeming quality is you can say Jackson Dart is a tough guy, Daniel Jones is a tough guy. Any quarterback that's ever played football is a tough guy.
I'm going to read this other one because I'm not going to read all of it because there's literally 12 concerns the scout has of this. And again, this is directly after the conclusion of the college football season, not Old Miss's season, but the bowl games, the championship game. I love this one. I'm going to just read the highlights. Threw at a different arm angles, which is fine. But his release point was closer to his chest than his head, leading to 9 batted passes down in 2024. Old Miss coaches have been trying to correct this and address this for the last 3 years, but this tendency still crops up. Dart has the ability to read pre-snap, but often plays based on reading only half the field. There are some that not enough evidence to convincingly suggest Dart could be a consistent player processing defensive coverage post snaps, nor was there enough evidence to show he could make full field reads. Who does that sound like right off the bat? And this guy literally goes on for pages. Definitely has bouts with locking onto one player before throwing. Can't get away with that in the pros. Didn't take easy throws as often as he should have. Also looking for bigger plays and result in missed opportunities. When Dart struggles to make his reads post snaps or locks onto the players, passed up easy throws, he naturally held the ball too long, and sometimes it worked out, but majority of the times it's an incomplete pass. When definitely pressure, he is pressure sensitive, frequently opting for the escape hatch with his legs rather than sticking in the muddy pocket or behind the line of scrimmage. Does consistently keeps his eyes downfield when on the move. Frankly, gives up way too early on passing plays when under pressure. Deep throws have a tendency to have too much air under them.
That's the one thing I disagree with. I don't see a guy with deep throws that have too much air under him. I'm not saying you couldn't pull up clips of it. You probably can, but I don't see. I see a guy that almost like a javelin throw on some of his.
You stole my, that's what I've been saying. Why are you stealing my shit? Don't try to sound smart by stealing my stuff.
No, that's
how many times did I say go look up a guy throwing a javelin, then look at Jackson Dart the way he throws?
I guess I learned quickly, Tim.
You do. But literally, like I said, these were scouting reports right after the season. What has changed?
What's shocking to me is Brian Dable falls in love with guys, minus Josh Allen, that have slow processing speeds. Like the whole point of being an elite NFL quarterback is to have good processing skills. You should be able to judge that as a head coach. That's the thing that bothers me. That's the one thing about Jackson Dart's game that bothers me the most. I don't mind the javelin throws. The guy can throw in tight windows. I don't think he can throw the ball more than 55 yards.
Yeah, do I?
50 is good enough in the NFL. But and he can't nail it outside the hashes. But
no.
But like to me, that's the problem. Jackson Dart can't process well. If you can't process well, you can't be an NFL quarterback. Plain and simple. Your processing speed does not get any quicker in the NFL. If anything, it's going to put you in panic more. How are you going to teach a kid to become more calm under pressure and duress?
You can't. It's not something you teach.
Because I can tell you right now, and I'm going to use another sport, and I hate to use this sport.
Not soccer.
When it comes to pressure in a sport, that you can tell the kids that are going to be okay at it or good at it right off the rip. Are they calm or are they not when they're under pressure? And when
I don't know who the hell this is, but I'm going to put this person on. His name is Dan. Is it Dan the man? Dan, who are you?
Yeah, that's exactly who it is.
You're Dan the man. All right.
Yeah.
I knew it was somebody. I was like, this usually never works out well.
Well, I figured I'd give it a shot.
No, not that you're not going to be very astute because you are in the chat. But normally, sometimes when we put people on, it just doesn't go. What's up, Dan? It's actually very nice to have you on. You've been commenting for a little while now. You do have, I personally think, because that's why I read a lot of your chats. I think you give astute opinions, not only in reference to just the Giants, but football, which is a lot of people on that come into this show late don't understand. We're not just talking Giant related football. We're talking just football in general.
Yeah, I try. I mean, I watch a lot of college football too. And I mean, one of the big things that when it comes to Jackson Dart was last year when they played Florida. And on that last drive, when he basically just quit. I mean, he just quit. I mean, he just threw a ball on 4th down and there was nobody there and he cried on the sidelines. I said, this is a guy that's projected to be like a top quarterback this year.
Yeah.
it was enough for me.
I can't deny that because I always use the Florida game as the Florida or the Kentucky game. Now a lot of people will say in the Florida game there was a couple drop passes, so they say of course that's not Jackson Dart's fault. That there's some drop balls, but there were also multitudes of missed opportunities. We have the Raiders on the clock right now with the 26th overall pick in the second round. The 26th pick in the second round, the 58th overall. So if there's a spot, I think for Shedeur, like I said, this is going to be it till the third round, because I don't see anything else shaking out after that as well. So we're waiting just to see what the Detroit Lions pick is. So, Dan, were you surprised? I mean, I think everyone was kind of shocked that they traded up and back in the first round for Jackson Dart. What was your feeling draft night when that announcement came that the Giants jump back into 25? Did you think it was going to be Dart, or did you just, what was the? I mean, I didn't get to watch the stream, so I didn't get to watch my own stream. So that's what I'm kind of curious.
Well, it shocked me because I thought that I didn't think they had the balls to trade up.
Right.
So it was surprising. I said, wow, they're actually doing this. And then I didn't even have enough time to process who they were going to take because the ESPN stream or NFL Network stream, they were showing Jackson Dart and, high-fiving his family. So I was like, oh, well, okay, that's the guy. Yeah, I never. But even if I had a window to process, yeah, they were not taking Shedeur.
What do you think? To OGR said it earlier that he gives Shane credit for growing a sack, and making the move for we're a family channel now, so we have to say things like that. We can't say balls, but for growing a sack and going up and getting his guy. Ernie, of course, he talks about it all the time, which is why he went up and got Eli Manning. You talk about George Young when he took a relatively unknown quarterback in the first round, naming Phil Simms. Do you think that maybe this is one of those picks that everyone thought Phil Simms back in 79 was going to be nothing, was going to be, was going to be a garbage pick. He was never going to amount to everything. There was people questioning even draft day, the move off of Phillip Rivers to get Eli Manning, but that of course both picks worked out. I'm not saying that Jackson Dart's going to have that career, but do you have a feeling that maybe it's kind of like one of those picks? Maybe it's going to be this pick that shocks us all that, Joe Schoen grew a sack and went and got his guy.
No, not at all. No. And the people that were making those comparisons last night, they were saying that exact thing. They said, "Oh, people booed the Phil Simms pick too. This guy out of Morehead State." What year did he get drafted? Was it 79?
Phil Simms went in 79.
That's a whole different time in the NFL. People had way more patience back then with quarterbacks. You had no free agency. It was just a whole different era. So when people make comparisons like that, and also when people have made the comparisons to say, oh, well, the Giants didn't, get rid of Parcells after 1 year. Why should they not give Dable some time or all this? I'm like, guys, the NFL is such a different.
It was a different, and the funny thing about that 83 season, that 3-12-1 season that almost got Parcells fired, he almost did get fired.
Right.
It was by the grace of God in George Young that he even had the opportunity to come back. So I mean, I think I'm not saying you, but I think there's a lot of younger fans that don't understand the lineage of Giant history, and actually, the worst part is I lived it. I lived 79, I lived 83. I remember all of it. But they don't remember what truly transpired. And Parcells even said it back in 84 that, if he was given that one opportunity to come back, he was going to do everything in his way because he listened to too many people. And the reason why I'm kind of going that direction is he went with Scott Brunner in 83. He didn't go with Phil Simms. He finally figured out he needs to put Phil Simms back in. Phil Simms breaks his thumb on an Eagle helmet, after throwing like 13 passes. He almost gets his ass fired. He comes back in 84, says, if I'm coming back, I'm doing everything my way. And the Raiders take Jack Beck, the wide receiver out of TCU. So the Shedeur Sanders watch continues. But when he came back and said, I'm doing it my way. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is, do you think that the Dart pick is a Dable pick, or do you think it's a Shane pick?
Now, I think that's a trick question because
we're going to tie all this in together, but I want the answer to that question first. What do you think it's a Dable pick or a Shane pick?
Oh man, that's really tough. That actually it's not an easy question.
Well, you still got to answer it.
I know.
Are you from North Carolina?
Because I think it's.
Where are you from, Dan?
Virginia, just outside of Richmond, Virginia.
Okay, I was guessing North Carolina.
Yeah, I'll happily answer that. That's
I gotta think more.
We'll let OG answer that one first. Who do you think? Who do you think's pick that was?
That's a Dable pick.
That's a Dable pick. Okay. So what do you think, Dan? Who do you think's pick it was?
I was definitely leaning towards Dable, just because it seems like he's been the more vocal about the pick, even before that, when they made the whole interview process and everything. It seemed like Dable was the one being more vocal about Jackson Dart than Shane. That's so I figured it seems like he's in love with them.
And that's why I dropped the parallel to Parcells, because Parcells said in 84, I'm going with Phil Simms. Yeah, he's been in the last 3 years. Phil Simms goes out and becomes the first Giant to throw for 4,000 yards, 22 touchdowns. Giants make the playoffs to win a playoff game with Phil Simms, because the head coach came up and said, that's the guy I want. Yeah. And now my question is he pulling a Parcells, Dable, and will Dable be able to see the fruit of his own labor if he gets his ass fired next year? Or going into next year. So that's what I'm saying. It's a very confusing pick to me, because you're rolling the dice, you're getting all ballsy, but it's like, you guys might not be back in 2026.
Well, if anybody will be back, if it all goes bad this year, I mean, Shane will be back, obviously, before Dable. If they don't fire both of them, if they split them up, Shane will be back before Dable, and that might be why you might be onto something there, to where they let him almost have this pick so he could take the fall. But it's probably a 2-year grace period when you look at it.
Oh, that's what I was thinking too. I think there must be some assurance, OGR, that Dable and Shane are going to be back for 2026.
I would say that, but history would tell us different, because I thought that Pat Shurmur, in his last season, I thought Daniel Jones had done enough to, flash enough to warrant Pat Shurmur staying another season, considering he was the one in the draft room pounding the table for Daniel Jones. So, and the history that John Mara doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about taking away the head coach. Maybe John Mara would learn from his mistakes, but the past 13 years would tell you, no, he doesn't.
No, I can't argue with that. I was gonna try it over. We got talk with Zoe Lorenzo in the house, saying the Sanders family scared away many suitors. I also feel like skipping the combine, entitlement, weak arm plummeted his draft stock. I think Jackson Dart and Shedeur Sanders has the same arm. I don't see. I mean, honestly, if you watch the throws in Colorado, I think Shedeur Sanders throws with more of an effortless motion. And to OGR's point, who he stole it from, Jackson Dart reminds me of a javelin thrower. And the problem is going to be in the NFL, the way he steps up in the pocket in that deep pass, he's not going to be able to do that in the NFL. You step up in the pocket with that elongated throwing motion to generate enough torque to get the ball deep, you're going to get wrecked.
But got toughness, according to John.
I forgot. I forgot. I literally forgot. I think on the Believe Network, because they asked me they asked me at one point in time, what guest would you like to have on? I like to have on John Gruden.
Yeah.
I would like to have John Gruden on because I have some questions for him about why he used to yell at me all the time. I am still literally scarred by this man yelling at me for 2 years. Come on, John. Come on the show because you're not going to remember me. You know what? I was a peon, but I would like to know why you hurt my feelings so much. Sorry.
Well, I'll tell you, for him, I watch a lot of Barstool stuff, and for him to be there in that crowd with Barstool, I don't see why he wouldn't come on here.
No, he wouldn't. I was just joking. John, like I said, I loved John Gruden. John Gruden was this. Yeah, he yelled at me a lot. He yelled at me, and like I said, I thought my name for at least 1 year. I thought my name was Tim. What the fuck? So I mean, like I said, I would, and I actually think he would remember me, which I think is funny, because of the fact that that there was one day that even I've said it before, even Warren Sapp, it was his last season in Tampa, even looked at me and said, "Well, he's pissed at you." He's like, I've never seen him that mad. It's like, well, you know what? That's just me. Now I have a YouTube channel pissing people off. But we'll have to wait and see. What do we all say? Talk with Zoe. Also, we'll give a 2 for 2 here. Sanders playing Colorado with a higher. Oh god, you know what, Zoe? I was going to talk about that, but I'm not going to give you that one. I'm sorry. I'm not going to get into the higher elevation of the arm strength. When I watched Shedeur Sanders throw at his pro day, he looked fine. He looked okay. Chill Daddy, you know what?
Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here. Not up in here.
Knock knock. Who's there? Not you. Good evening, says Eric. Let's see here. Omega Supreme says a lot of Giant content creators are trying to sell us on darts because they are on the Giant payroll. I got a story about that, but I can't tell that story.
Hey,
but I got a story about that.
I'll tell you something.
Oh, come on. We want to hear that.
No, I can't tell that. I can't tell that story.
I'll tell you this. Some of these content creators are not even on the Giants payroll. They would love to be on the Giants payroll. That's why they say what they say.
That's yeah. Let's just put it this way. When they say the Giants try to get content creators on their payroll, you're not lying. I'm not going to get into it, but you're not far off. You know, so we're just going to leave it at that. So we'll go from there, because you know what, we're above that now, because we're big time.
You will act. The funny thing is, you always joke about being the kinder, gentler Tim. You're going to end up being the kinder, gentler Tim.
Okay, listen, I think, you know, so we've talked about this, and I'll ask Dan. We are now, for those that do not know, we've talked about this earlier in the chat. We are, you know, we had the trivia question: what do Online Big Blue, Carl Banks, and Bob Pop all have in common? We're all on the Believe Network. So the Online Big Blue New York Giants Straight Talk show is going over to the Believe Network. You're going to be able to find us everywhere that they're at, and all the other places like Alton Sports and all these other places that we're going to be at as well. Doing our thing, doing our little show. So we are the kinder, gentler Tim. But I'm going to ask the chat, you know, with this new opportunity that we've just signed on today, what is the time frame does everyone think, or how many days do you think before I get fired?
Before training camp.
Ooh, so how many days is that?
How
many days is that?
3 months.
3 months. So 90 days. Because like we do every home game or every game where we say pick the score, we're gonna do a pool. We're gonna give away. We already gave away one. We're gonna give away an Eli Manning replica ring. Put your guess in the chat, How many? OGR says 90 days. Dan, I'm gonna get to you in a minute. How many days will it be before I get fired by Believe? Put that in the chat. Dan, how many days do you think it's gonna be?
Oh man.
That's not good.
No. I think what they say. They said the schedule. They said the schedule comes out May 14th. I think
May 14th, I believe. Yes.
I'll give it May 14th.
So you're talking 19 days.
Yeah, because you're gonna be honest. You're gonna be too honest about the schedule, and then they're gonna have enough of you.
Come on.
Come on.
It'd be like 0-17.
So wait. So OGR is 90. Dan is 19 days. I got David coming in at 4 days. Joseph gives me 3 days. Omega Supreme. I knew I loved you for a reason, man. A full football season. And let's see. This showcase says, "What happens for you to get fired?" Just being me, probably. I don't think there's going to be much. I don't think there's going to be many other reasons. Oh, we have 120 days. Okay. Joseph says, honestly, 3 to 5. You motherfuckers don't have any confidence in me. Honestly, 3 to 5 months. The only one I like so far is Omega Supreme. That's the only one I like. I in Logic's finest there because he says a full season. I'm giving I'm giving myself 11 and a half days. Because OG, a rant's is just gonna happen.
It is 100% gonna commence. Hey, it might commence in about 5 picks from now too.
No. I'm not going through that. Oh wait, the Giants don't have a pick till like the
beginning of the which is almost here.
Yeah.
Well, no, they don't. Oh yeah, so their pick is what's their 3rd round pick? What's the number on the pick? Oh, I got to stay tuned for that. I was gonna leave.
They're the first pick in the 3rd round.
That's right. They traded the 66 pick. That's right. Okay, I was gonna leave. So now I can't leave. Damn it. RJ Harvey went to the Broncos out of UCF. That's kind of interesting. Mike Green, the edge out of Marshall, also went to the Baltimore Ravens. So we're waiting now on the Washington Commanders. Their pick is in. The Chicago Bears are on the clock with the 30th overall pick in the 2nd round. To be number 62. Then we have the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, and then the vaunted New York Football Giants.
So I do have a question for you, Tim.
Sure.
There was a run on DTs in the beginning of the 1st round into like middle of the 2nd round. I've seen them run edges, and I'm shocked because I didn't think. It was a decent edge class, but I didn't think it was this deep.
It's interesting that you say that because it's I didn't really think it was that deep either. But I think in this round, I believe there's only 3 edge rushers went. Was it 3? Because I know it went to the Cowboys, or was it 2? No, it was actually 4. You're right. It was 5. Wow, you're right. I was not paying attention, and I thought it was more of a draft for defensive tackles. You're right.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that maybe somebody slips to the Giants because I know we always talk about the defensive tackle position for the Giants
because we need a running mate for Dexter Lawrence.
It's good to have depth. Period, and you never. I always like DT's 2nd, 3rd round. The Giants have made their bread and butter there.
They have since going back to Jim Burt, but I think Jim Burt was 2nd round. But they have literally since going back to the early 80s, in reference to you're right to finding not recently, but finding those guys. I'm trying to see who's available.
I guess you consider not recently, but BJ Hill was actually a later round pick. I think it was a 5th round. But
yeah, where's BJ Hill now? We literally traded BJ Hill for Billy Price, the worst center in the NFL outside of JMS. I just cut it down to 9 days.
They're currently failing of you have 9 days now.
Is that
Tim?
I can't find.
Did you sign a contract?
Huh?
Did you sign a contract with this
Yeah,
group?
I signed it today.
All right, you did?
Yeah, I signed it. I sent it to you.
I didn't get it read it because I think when you sent it to me and my kid was practicing.
I sent it to you. Yeah, it's signed. It's done. I feel, and then they send you this packet of like, things you have to do. When I'm looking at this and I'm reading through it and I'm talking to James at the same time, and I'm like, I'm screwed.
So how does Online Big Blue, like your YouTube channel, tie in with this?
Well, if you haven't noticed, Online Big Blue is now Online Big Blue / New York Giants Straight Talk.
Yeah.
So just like the Bob Papa Carl Banks show, which is Believe on YouTube as well. There you go.
Okay.
Hoop, there it is. They wanted it all. They wanted it all, brother. They didn't want a little piece of OBB. They wanted the whole pie.
So are they getting the special guests too?
Allegedly, yes. Allegedly, they're supposed to have guests.
No, I'm saying your special guests.
Oh, well, yeah. They're never going away. they're never, they're I mean, like I said, I am gonna be waiting, and it's gonna happen. I know it. Here he is. He's gonna be on the show sometime soon.
I made a joke in chat. You won't ever have to do that ever again because it'll actually be on your channel. Oh God, poor Carl.
Oh.
Yeah, it's actually funny. About 10 years ago, I got into it was a very lengthy back and forth with Carl Banks on Twitter about how, I think it was when Durant signed with the Warriors. I was like, he said it was comparing to Shaq signing with the Lakers back in the 90s. And I went into this back and forth saying, no, they're not the same. And it was pretty funny.
Well, I am hoping that listen, and I love it because I have to have like overlays now and all this I don't know why I'm doing this, but it's like I've said, like I've been saying I've been saying it now for a couple of weeks. We're more professional now. Now we're even going to be more professional. And then I watch Bob Papa and the Carl Banks thing. I clicked on that today to see their Believe, the Believe channel there. I was like, you know what? We're pretty professional now as it is. See, that's a kinder, gentler Tim. And I can't get it to pull up. OG, I don't know if you can. Is the kid from Texas, the defensive tackle from Texas, still out there? Not Texas. Texas A&M.
I don't know, but the original guy you were mentioning, but obviously you meant to say Texas A&M. The actual Texas has been taken.
But I know he's been taken. I know that, but I can't think. I think his name is. I'm trying to find it, but I can't find it. It's like Shamar Turner. I did a draft profile on him, and now I can't fucking find it. I mean, I can't find it. I can't find it. But where are we at now in the draft? Are we still drafting?
Yes,
we're still drafting. Oh,
we're still drafting. You got 3 more, Tim, till the Giants.
Yeah, he's still on the board.
Oh, he's still on the board? I liked him. I like the kid.
You know who I like, but Tim won't because he's undersized? Zane Durant out of Penn State.
He's undersized. How many more undersized Penn State guys can we bring in?
I'll die laughing if they take him. He shouldn't be taken in. Like, he should be like a seventh round guy, maybe undrafted free agent. But I love his first step. But yeah, Zane. If Zane's taken first pick of the 3rd round, by the Lord.
I love James here. James says, "I will give you the May 25th. That's 20 days. It's about 20 days." Mr. Showcase says, "Tim, that's pretty huge. You don't seem too excited." It's funny. I don't get excited a lot. And my wife gets mad at me because something exciting will happen. And she goes, "Well, you're not so excited." I'm like, "Yeah, here's what it is." I mean, it's okay.
Excited to meet me at Trenton when you invited me down there.
Well, I like you because I hate people in general. But I wanted to meet you. I had a whole conversation with James about how I don't like people. I like the person. I don't like people. But I don't get it. I don't get overly Because you know what, we got to see what happens. Like I said, it's a great opportunity, and like I said, it is a great opportunity, great conversations with these people. If everything goes like it's supposed to, it's gonna give more exposure of the channel, and you don't want us exposing ourselves across multiple platforms. And hopefully we can find a larger audience. And that was always, it's never been my goal to find a larger audience, but because I don't like people. But it's an opportunity to get OGR's message out, to get Dan's message out, to get everyone that's been part of this channel since its inception, to help get their word out. I mean, people are like, well, you're going to still have certain segments and do certain things. Yeah. So.
Oh, well, actually, as we were talking, the Bears just selected Shamari Turner.
Damn it, Shamari. All right, now someone asked me who I wanted. Well, I wanted Shamari Turner.
Yeah, Tim, I want to say something right now. I will say this: as far as YouTube channels go, other YouTube channels, giant channels, will sit there and go, will claim that we are the channel of the people. You are. Because you will sit there and allow almost anyone on this channel, agree, disagree, whatever, allow to come in, talk to you, say their message, and you treat them with the utmost respect, where other channels will just, behind the scenes dunk on these guys or treat them disrespectfully. You truly are a channel of the people, and I'm not just blowing up smoke up your ass. It's the truth.
You mean like Dan? Because I kind of forgot he was here. Well, I do appreciate that. I try. And like I said, we had a great time last night because, we ran into Mark Stewart. We had, of course, Big L, we had, we had Swing Culture TV, we were running all these different people that follow the channel. And it's, like I said, it's always freaking awesome to meet people because of the fact that I think a lot of ways with this channel, we've always wanted it to be, an open dialogue. And I was joking with Dan that we when we let new people on, sometimes it doesn't go well, but honestly, when we have people on, that especially ones that I've seen Dan, that's how I knew Dan's last name. Or is that not really your last name? Or are you just Dan the Man?
It's not my last name.
I didn't think it was. I was giving it a shot. But when I saw Dan, I said my first thought of process was Dan the Man. Because he's been following for a while now. So I like I said, I've always wanted to be inclusive, even with stupid people, and do what we, do what we can, and just have fun talking football. So hopefully, I don't think that's going to change when when we're shifting over to Believe and doing all that stuff. I don't think that's going to change at all. Everything that you follow us in regards to the podcast and YouTube channel, that all stays the same. But we'll just be on their network as well, and they'll be, they also have different avenues, like I said, that they put out, different content on different sports sites. So we're just going to be involved in that. So we're not going away. Nothing's going to change. The RSS feeds, they're telling me, is all going to stay the same. So everything's going to be where it's supposed to be, I guess.
I have another question. Are you, possibly, would they actually give you a press pass to actually interact with actual Giants? Because
listen, they were nice enough to sign me. Do you really think they're gonna go crazy? Because evidently somebody's watched the show. So I don't think. Oh, Giant guy, I'm never gonna sell out. That's the problem. That's the problem. Please don't sell out. That's what the problem is. And to OGR's point, and to anyone that knows me outside of the channel, I have a switch that just, you've seen it. When it goes off in this channel, I don't know what it just goes. And, I let the train out of the station, and as it's going down the track, I don't know if the guy that runs the train is going to send it to the left or the right. It just goes where it goes. And
I've seen it go off the rails quite a few times.
God forbid that it doesn't go to a destructive pattern. We got the Philadelphia Eagles on the clock now at 32. My pick at 60. My pick was stolen by the Chicago Bears. So
you know what I want to see, but I think it's a little too early for him. I don't know how you feel about him, but the running back Scadaboo.
I was thinking fourth. I think. Well, no, we're going to be in the third.
Well, no, we're in the third right now. So yeah, he's probably more of a fourth round, fifth round.
But I was going to say I think he's more of a fourth round pick. But you went up and grabbed. To me, the Giants need a running back.
Absolutely,
they need a running back. This was a running back laden draft. And I'm not. Let's see who's still on the board.
I really wish.
Dylan Sampson. Why is Dylan Sampson from Tennessee still on the board?
That could be an option, yeah.
Caleb Johnson's still on the board.
6'1", 224. Wow.
Oh, I love Caleb Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Caleb Johnson is a prototypical. Thank you. Prototypical. That's who I want. Okay. I changed my mind now. I want Caleb Johnson now that I know he's still available. Prototypical north-south runner, bruising back. He is a guy to me that I thought he would have gone in the second round. I'm actually kind of surprised he's still there. To me, he's an every down back. And he is a guy that if you pair with Tyrone Tracy, I think you have one hell of a backfield.
I agree. But I'm curious, how do you feel about him in pass pro? Because I'm not crazy about Tracy in pass pro.
Well, someone's got to figure it out. Well, we have Eric Gray.
We brought him in for pass pro.
Wait a minute.
It's up this year.
We don't need pass protection.
Yeah, Jackson Dart's got legs. He can run for his life. Yeah.
Thank you, Dan. See, Dan knew where I was going with that. But Talkazo loves Caleb as well. We have the prototypical. He's a prototypical running back. Yeah. If it's me, I go Caleb Johnson.
I'm curious about this too, and the chat can also answer this. And now it slips my mind. Son of a gun. Bad time for that.
So the chat's gonna answer "son of a gun." Bad time for that.
Oh, I literally had it on the tip of my tongue and I lost it.
Well, Eagles took Andrew Makuba, safety out of Texas. I guarantee the Giants were looking at him just because that's the Eagles. That would be an Eagles move.
Well, the Giants were going to trade up and get him, just like the Rams were going to take
I honestly would not be surprised if the Giants. It makes sense for the Giants to trade back at that point. To be honest with you,
trade back this third pick.
Yeah.
Really? Why? Why does that? Why do you think that makes sense?
Because unless there's somebody pressing.
Wait, the Giant pick is already in.
All right. Well, unfortunately, I'm behind. So it
says the Giant pick is already in. Well, no, I don't have it yet. Come on. What do you? All right. So they're not trading back.
Not trading back.
That's a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
That pick was in pretty quick. Where do we think, Dan? Where do you think you're going?
I think it's the running back, Caleb Johnson.
You think it's Caleb Johnson?
Yeah, I got a good vibe. After I didn't know he was still on the board, and then when I looked it up, and it makes a lot of sense. At least that's how I hope it is.
I literally, like I said, until OGR brought it up, I didn't even look at the running backs market. I didn't look at the running back market. I thought more running backs went than was there, because there are some guys that had end of first round, second round grades on a lot of draft boards that are, like I said, Sampson, Caleb. Like I said, Caleb. I'm shocked by Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very loaded class for running backs.
And I'm going to say running back or guard is what they're going to go.
Yeah.
And if it's a guard, it's going to be a guard that's going to be projected to be good.
Yep.
They're going to project it that Danny's going to need 5 years to maturate. And once he finally does, we're going to release him. He's going to go to San Francisco and actually learn how to play. Not looking at you, Matt from Connecticut.
It's going to be like John Michael Schmitz. Oh, how did he fall into our lap?
I hated that pick. I still hate that pick. Yes, the Jets stole my pick in Joe Tippmann. They stole him. They literally stole him because I did at least 2 videos on Joe Tippmann, how I think he was going to be a Pro Bowl center. And I do not have a good track record on offensive linemen, mainly guards and tackles. But I just, you saw the way he played in college. It just translated into, you always say there's certain players that you can see will translate into the NFL. And I always said it. I thought JMS, undersized, lost that weight, never really gained it back, was a wrestler, but he doesn't seem to understand how to play with leverage.
That's crazy to me, to be a wrestler and not know leverage. I mean, that's literally all wrestling.
That's all wrestling. That's why I was shocked by that, because I kept hearing, well, he's a wrestler. He's a wrestler. I'm like, okay, well, he doesn't know how to play with leverage. You literally can see it. And we talk about it, guys that undersized. Here we go. There he goes. I mean, does he look like a center?
Absolutely.
I do look like a center, but that's just okay. But great kid. I mean, great kid, man. But let's see. He led the league in holding penalties his rookie season as a center, and he gave up the most sacks in the league this year as a center.
Tim, is there a pick minus Malik Neighbors? That, and the reason I say minus Malik Neighbors, it should have been the quarterback, but minus Malik Neighbors, because the kid's going to be good, that you've actually enjoyed over the previous 2 drafts, that you're like, hey, I agree with that pick from the Giants.
We took Darius Alexander, the defensive tackle out of Toledo.
Okay.
That's who the New York. We finally got that running mate for Dexter Lawrence. This kid had about a third round grade. It's funny. 6'4", 303 pounds. I literally just laughed because, and let's see here. Let's see here. Gets caught fighting blockers instead of finding the runner. Average first step quickness in the neutral zone. Doesn't get to the point of the attack quickly. Below average. Oh, he's below average against below average with his rush. I love it. He's got the coveted length to be a 3-down set. Comes off the ball with good bend and force. Pattern blocker. Capable side swim move. So it basically seems like he's more of a pass rusher. He's fairly instinctive rusher. Comes fueled by active hands. Let's see here. He's capable. Let's see. Needs to do better balancing his force to control. He's above. I love this one though, because we already took, Abdul Carter, who was the undersized defensive end. And now we took a guy that's a defensive tackle. Now most of the times you think defensive tackles are stout against the run. He's above average. Has some issues holding on to the point of attack, which you don't need to do that as a defensive tackle. He's inconsistent. And I love it because these are some of the things that are his strengths, that he's inconsistent. He was a projected 2nd round pick. He was actually projected being 2nd or 3rd round pick as well. I truly know, and I'm making fun of him, but I truly don't know anything about him, if you want me to be honest. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you if he's any good. He redshirted back in 2019, played in 16 games in 2020, played in all 13 games in 2021. So he's been in college for 6 years.
My Lord.
Second team all second. I love this. Second team all MAC.
In his 6th year?
Second team all MAC in his 6th season.
Oh, gosh.
He had started 12 games with 40 tackles, 7 for loss, 3.5 sacks.
Dude, I mean, just based on what you're reading, that sounds like a 4th, 5th round DT.
He's projected second or third round.
Who's doing these projections? Because just based on what you're reading, it seems like a guy we're taking a gamble at. And actually, I don't even like, unless we're trying to upgrade our base 3-4. He seems like a 3-4 defensive end, not an actual running mate DT right next to Dexter Lawrence to me.
Exactly.
And I'm not trying to disparage the MAC conference. But he's only second team all MAC.
Exactly. That's what I was
would people like me to read to you the teams in the MAC conference? Akron, Buffalo, Miami, Ohio, Toledo, Ball State, Central Michigan, Northern Illinois, the fighting, I don't know what the hell they are, Massachusetts,
UMass, baby,
Bowling Green.
Oh, they're in the MAC now. Oh, wow.
Bowling Green, Eastern Michigan, Ohio, just Ohio, and Western Michigan.
I knew like half those teams, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, I love action football. Just because it gives you something to watch. It gives you something to watch on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
I was gonna say, aren't they on ESPN like a weird day?
Like half those teams, Penn State will usually pay at least one team from the MAC in the first 2 weeks of the season to get acclimated to college football. They'll play like Ball State or Akron or Eastern Michigan. It's great.
Mercer County,
or Toledo.
I like Omega Supreme. Mercer County, it's Mercer County Community College. Bucks County Community Colleges. No, we're not. It's not that bad. And Mercer County Community College no longer has a football team.
Oh.
Just so you know, these are the hard hitting things that is going over to the Believe Network that I know. Mercer County Community College in Hamilton does not have a football team. But it's the mighty MAC. It's the return of the MAC.
I can't wait to see, and I'll watch it so y'all don't have to. I'll look at some of these other content.
You'll watch the MAC for us or other content?
No, not the MAC. Some of these other content creators. And
they're going to tell you it's the greatest pick ever. I don't know anything
exactly. I want to see how they dance around it.
I literally have not watched film on him. He was projected second to third round grade. I honestly did not watch any film on him, so I literally cannot tell you if he's if it's a good pick or not. I'm just being an asshole.
Based on what you read, I don't understand how he's a second, third round protection. I don't see where people get that from.
Well, he's an undersized defensive end that doesn't hold up against the point of attack.
It's exactly what we need.
Yeah. You asked me earlier if there was a pick. See, I'm going to get back to that question because I have an answer. What was the full question again?
So, in the past two drafts, minus Malik Neighbors, is there any
two drafts or just this last draft?
Past two drafts.
Okay.
Because I already think I know the answer. The answer is no, but we'll see. Is there any draft pick that they've drafted that you agree with, minus Malik Neighbors?
Yes.
Okay, which one is it?
Oh, and you want me to expand?
Yes.
If you want to go 2023, I agree with the Deonte Banks pick. I thought with his ability to be that man cover guy, that press cover corner in the wing system, he was the perfect fit. I think his regression in 2023 not only had to do with the system with Shane Bowen, but it was the poor safety play between Pinnock, Newman, and Belton. And I think because a lot of people want to say, well, he dogged it and he was lazy, and I'm not gonna say he wasn't, because there was a couple plays we saw where he did not run. But I can also point out, which I always find a little bit of a conundrum, I can point out two plays that Bobby Okereke just stopped, that he was running towards the field and literally just stopped, and no one got on his ass for that. But I think if he can figure out how to fit in the Bowen system, that he is going to be a player. In 2024, I'm going to shock you here outside of Malik Neighbors. I think I'm not going to say it was a reach at 47, but like I said before, just because you are the best at something right at that point in time does not mean you are good. It just means you are available. I didn't agree with Tyler Nubin at 47. I thought it was a little too high for him because people consider him the best safety in the draft. But I think the kid Tyler Nubin is a player, but at 6'10, 200, 6'2, 210 pounds, he puts on another 15 pounds. I'm slapping, I'm making him a Michael Boley, and I'm putting him in the linebacker position because I think he's a better fit to be that Peppers, Logan Ryan, Xavier McKinney in the box safety, more of that quasi linebacker than he is as a strong safety himself. And I think he could be more of an asset to the Giants in that running game than he'll ever be roaming the defensive secondary.
Look at that! I'm actually shocked by the Tyler New right now. You're full.
I don't want to say anything, but yeah. Suck on that, Lex Luthor. No, and that's what people don't, and I think that's what some people that when they initially watch this channel don't get. Some of these picks are fine picks. It's just, are they fine picks for the Giants? And when you look to build a team and you look at the roster, you have to look at as an entirety, what is Joe Shane doing? And some of these picks also kind of perplex you. Kind of like taking an undersized defensive tackle that's not strong at the point of attack, who was only second team MAC, and you took him with the first pick in the third round. But hey, I'm not saying anything.
And he's 440 years old.
He was in college for 6 years. You know what they call someone that goes to college for 6 years?
A doctor.
There you go. Doctor. Wait a minute. I have to go back and see if he has a doctorate.
He better. He better. If he watches out of the league in 2 years. Oh, that was not nice of me.
T-Brad says, I'll take this pick today. Okay, T-Brad. Maybe. T-Brad, are you available? Here. Can you come on? I'm going to stay on for a couple more minutes if T-Brad can come on. Wait a minute. Because I'm curious, because T-Brad likes the pick, or is he just saying he'll take the pick? Dan, what do you think of the pick?
I mean, like I said, I didn't watch the guy, neither.
That's the thing. I can't tell you.
Yeah, it's just that at this point, anything this regime does, I mean, I'm just going to be like, well, I'll say this. Did they see it as value, or did they see this pick as, we need to take a defensive tackle right now?
Now, some scouting boards, excuse me, make sure you guys are hitting the like button, because I don't know if you're hitting the like button or not. I've gone like an hour and something. I haven't told you to hit the like button. Some draft boards have him as a second round value.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
here's draft boards have him as.
What's that?
What do other draft boards have him as?
Like I said, yeah, I'm looking. So this is the second round. This one is 2 to 3. This one is third. This is wait a minute, hold on. This one's 3 to 4. I would say the consensus is third to fourth rounder.
So there was a run on DTs, and we panicked.
Dude, it's not like we panicked and reached up and grabbed a quarterback. What's wrong with you?
No, I saw some DTs that a lot of people had the Giants selecting, just either content creators or because I think everybody knew the Giants were going to go DT in this draft.
Yeah, you figure because you need a running mate for. We don't need weapons now for Daniel Jones. Now the rallying cry is we need a running mate for Dexter Lawrence.
Well, we're not drafting for the Indianapolis Colts, so you're right. We don't need weapons.
You're right. Good point. Like I said, I can't say I can't. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know anything about the kid.
To me, I know nothing about the kid. Too, I'll be frankly honest. Just based on what you read, based on the projections, it seems like a slight bit of a reach. Early third round, usually you're looking to get a guy that, hey, I didn't think he was going to still be there. This is the time you take BPA, and you were sitting there talking about the running back, and it seemed like a good time to take one. And I mean, obviously, I don't know the Giants draft board, but to me, based on what you read, his age, the fact that in his 6th year he was second team MAC, it seems to me that the little bit of a reach, and the Giants panicked because some DT went off the board there late, and they really wanted a DT in the 3rd round.
It's return of the Mac. Let's see here. The Giants re the draft with a pretty solid pick. Alexander is I love this because I love this. This is great. Alexander is mature. Yeah, because he's 32. NFL ready talent with some room to grow, has good length as an interior rush skill set. So he's a pass rusher.
Does anybody we have know how to stop the run?
No.
Is there anyone left?
No. Listen, when there are 40 offensive plays and you get 38 sacks, why do you need to stop the run? I liked you for a minute, Dan, but now you just don't make any sense. No. Bobby Okereke.
I mean, what do they think? Do they think the league is just going to go back to pass happy all of a sudden?
I just love the fact that he's mature. He's 38. He's got grandkids. But
there was a guard from Georgia. The name escapes me, that was drafted, and one of the things they said, his positive, is plays through injury. I was like, come on.
You mean he wasn't a tough guy? I can't say if the kid. I mean, guys, I can't say if the pick is good or bad. I can't. I don't know anything about the kid.
I don't know anything about the kid, but based on what we're reading, and as this conversation carries over, and the fact that you keep laughing every time you read more on him, it's not a good sign, Tim. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, and also,
no.
I mean, so the guy from Texas A&M, that's Shamar Turner. Is that his name?
Yeah.
So, to me, I see a couple things. The Giants probably were hoping Shamar Turner fell to them. And now, this is assuming that they know how to evaluate talent. And then, number 2, well, damn, wouldn't it be nice if you had some extra draft picks to maybe trade up to get Turner? Yeah.
You crazy. This is interesting because I was trying to think to myself about the panic thing that OGR was talking about, how the Giants panicked by grabbing a defensive tackle. How in the first 64 picks, how many defensive tackles do you think were taken?
64 picks, I will say 12.
11.
Damn,
you were good.
Yeah.
Where happened to the is the kid from Florida State still on the board? The defensive tackle. I can't think of his name.
Not sure.
Farmer.
Yeah.
I can't think of his first name. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. I can just think of Farmer. He was someone that I looked at. He's a guy that's also he's not a huge guy. I think he's like 310 pounds. But he's a guy that's if you've seen him play, and I've seen some Florida State games. He's a guy who was also projected second and third. And he's a thick guy. He's a guy you could tell is going to be stout. Well, you can't tell because it's the draft. But you looked at him in college. He was stout against the run. So he would be a lot younger than a guy that was 48 years old, who has 7 kids and 2 grandkids, who's a doctor. I'll have to wait and see. I don't know. Reports are Shedeur Sanders didn't read playbooks before the meetings with the Giants, and he snapped after Dable called him out. You know what's funny? And I know it's his job. I understand it's his job, but I remember the meeting with what they showed, the meeting with Jaden Daniels and Brian Dable on Hard Knocks. And Hard Knocks, like I said, it's the gift that just keeps on giving. I kind of thought that Dable was a little bit of a dick.
He was
to Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there watching it, going, dude, why are you being a dick to this kid? I mean, seriously, he is the consensus. He's one of the consensus overall picks outside of Caleb Williams, and you're coming and you are coming off another losing season, and you're going to be a dick to the kid.
Maybe because he knew there was no way in hell that we were getting him.
I always go back to the Deion Sanders draft with the Giants, and the Giants used to have under George Young, they had this big test you had to fill out before the draft, before they could even consider drafting you. And they gave it to Deion Sanders, and Deion Sanders gave it back and said, "I ain't going to be around when you're picking."
Right.
The funny thing is, with AP's comment, I mean, that is a hallmark of Joe Shane bringing it. He does love to draft his top 30 visits, so that is definite.
That's a great comment though. You're right. New York State of Mind says you were at me, Goofy. I was talking about something totally different and wasn't referring to you at all. Just clarifying, I wasn't talking to you. I don't remember your comment. New York State of Mind. Did you say something? I think I'm going to be offended by New York State of Mind. I don't know what you said, dude. So you're all good, man. You're all good. Nothing but love. Nothing but love.
So
I got the goof troop bug in the back. You didn't notice that?
So Saints just took Vernon Broughton, defensive tackle out of Texas. I guarantee he's going to be a stud.
I was going to say he falls there. Let me get to one more of these chats. Omega Supreme says, Tim and Marshall Green show powered by VPL Believe. Ken and Tim, don't block me. Of course, Omega, I would never block you. I only block you if you're stupid. Lions bought a Tesla. I just said I wasn't talking about you. I wasn't talking about you. What? What are you talking about? My comment about it doesn't matter. Comment about what? I missed. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Doing it well. I was representing Queens. He was raised out of Brooklyn. It's the T-Brad. It's the OGR. So T-Brad, do you like the doctor that we just took out of the MAC?
Yeah, just based on need. We can't stop the run, so I wasn't available. I had meetings, so they didn't draft me. I didn't interview well, but they needed somebody to stop the run, and I wasn't available. But no, this kid was projected to go pretty high.
Did you read in his scouting report one of his deficiencies?
What?
Holding up the point of attack versus the run. He's a pass. Yeah. He's a pass rusher. He's a 305-pound pass rusher. He's not going to stop the run.
The Giants will make him that because they were able to take a right tackle and make him a left tackle. The Giants can do it. Believe in Dable. Fan on.
Dan the man said it best. If there are 50 offensive plays and you get 46 sacks, you don't need to stop the run.
Well, they don't need to pass the ball if you can't stop the run. So it kind of works out the same way. I'm sorry, people. I've been in mourning since last night. I just feel like it was a terrible draft, and I only have myself to blame. I feel like watching the Giants draft over the last 6 years is like Charlie Brown coming to kick the football with Lucy and expecting a different result. It's the same damn thing.
T-Brad, I'll say
damn thing.
You were just legit when you heard the word Jackson Dart at 25. You just got silent for like 15-20 seconds. You were just in shock. It was like you committed suicide on screen.
Hold that thought for 1 second. New York State of Mind. What the fuck are you talking about? I was not talking about you. I was talking to another commenter. What are you? Oh, good. I was like, what are you talking about?
Stop putting him on screen because he's like, no, this is like you guys are having two separate conversations. He's like, no, not you, him.
I know. Him. That's what I want to know. I want to know who.
That's why people have to tag people when they're commenting.
Exactly.
I want to know who.
In all honesty, I don't know how to tag people. He's frustrated.
I don't know how to do that either. I don't want to know who he's battling. That's what I was wondering.
Shout him out. I feel as though I was upset because one. like you said, Lex, yesterday, how come everyone knows what we're doing? They know 2 days exactly what we're doing, exactly who we're going after, and around when we're going to do it. And when we were talking to James, when James was on last night, he's like, "Yeah, we're going to trade up against your doors." I said, "James, we're not doing that. We're not doing." I mean, I held out hope that we would. I said, "We're not doing that. We're just not going to do that. We're going to get Dart. We know Dart has the optics. He's got the Eli Manning connection. And to be honest, if that rumor was true though, that Sanders didn't check the playbook before he went to a meeting, then yeah, he deserves the drop. Because that's some ignorant. You don't show up to a job interview with a test on a line and you don't look at the test when they give you the answers to the test that's in the book. So if Sanders did do that, he kind of shot himself in the
So
ass
it
right
was.
there.
So what you're saying? It's like a Bo Callahan, where they took the $50 and put it on the back of the playbook, and he lied and said he knew about it, and when he didn't.
Yep.
Everything always goes back to draft day. Greatest movie besides Roadhouse. Oh, T. Brad, do you know Buckaroo Banzai's and the Aliens from the Fifth Dimensions?
No.
You don't know that movie? Okay, we thought you would know. James, no, we thought you would know it. Omega
I
Supreme's
apologize.
got a great question, and I'm seeing this I'm reading Twitter right now. Could there be collusion against Shedeur Sanders, and is he potentially being blackballed in the NFL?
You mean like Kaepernick? Absolutely not. The NFL doesn't do things like that.
Well, if you're not going to answer the
The best
question, I don't know
people
why I
get
had
the
you on.
job. Yeah, the best people get the job. No, there's no way something like that can happen. I mean, the NFL is all about the best people and the most qualified getting the jobs every single time. So yeah, this is 100% sarcasm, just so you know. But yeah, I 100% believe that Sanders is falling because all of a sudden, sometime between now and January, he's gotten very terrible. I don't know what happened, but he's gotten very terrible. He's a bad person, bad man.
We have the super
It
chat.
definitely looks like that.
We have a super chat from Kelvin, and he said it before. I'm calling it Shedeur Sanders is this year's Mr. Irrelevant 199. He is not the first person actually today to say that. That Shedeur could go all the way down to Mr. Irrelevant.
I can say like this: I've never seen a quarterback drop like this, and when I say drop, I mean Aaron Rodgers dropped,
He
but
dropped to the end of the first round.
right, but I remember that draft. They said whoever doesn't get picked between Alex Smith, can't believe those two were up for it, but Alex Smith and Aaron Rodgers, the next one won't go for a long time because so many people didn't have quarterback need. But in this draft, you had Cleveland with a quarterback need, us with a quarterback need, Saints, Pittsburgh with a definite quarterback need. And it's just wild that this kid has dropped this far.
But to me, like a team like the Steelers that has had multiple chances to pick Shedeur and has not done it, and Mike Tomlin and the way he evaluates talent, that said that to me that's a red light for me when it comes to Shedeur Sanders. Why?
There's something. Yeah, there's something.
Yeah.
Do you know where he's?
Where
I got it figured out. Do you know where he's going? I just watched. I went through the draft board. 98, 99.
San Fran?
Nope. The Raiders. 2 picks back to back. The 98th and the 99th. You take him. You got Geno Smith for 2 years. You sit there with Pete Carroll. Just calling it. Like OGR and the Rams, I'm calling I am Babe Ruth. I'm calling my shot.
You know what?
Jalen Walker.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that.
He didn't even get to pick him when he finally went.
We're not gonna. Why you gotta bring that up? What's wrong with you? Let's see here. Let's see what do we got here. Mike. Well, my question is, why would there be collusion? I don't know. That's what people are saying on Twitter. I don't know.
I don't think. I don't think there's collusion. And somebody like Mike Tomlin, I don't believe would collude even if he was given the chance. So, yeah, I to me, there's something about Shador that obviously there's a lot of teams that don't like. But
AP says, I think Shador Sanders just pissed off all the teams by not performing at the combine. I don't believe that because there's plenty of quarterbacks that didn't throw at the combine.
Yeah.
Reported character issues, etc. The Browns and Steelers have dog shit at quarterback and still passed on him.
That's saying a lot. I think he must be that quote unquote arrogant that nobody wants to touch him. I can't see the most accurate passer in the draft by all scouts accounts, and he's dropping this much. Usually, the accurate quarterback goes. This is wild.
AP also says Shador was a lock in the top 10. If you take a look, you weren't here, T-Bab. We did this earlier. I read the scouting reports of Jackson Dart directly after the the college football season ended, the championship game. And I read some of the wonderful things that people had to say about him, but somehow all those deficiencies, and there was one, we read one for like 10 minutes. All these deficiencies seem to have just gone away.
Yep.
And you take a look to your point, Shador Sanders, probably the most accurate quarterback in this draft, probably the most accurate quarterback last year in college football. Can't find a team sitting going into the third round, heading into the 80th pick, or heading into the 76th pick. I'm sorry.
Seems very criminal. But somebody's going to get a good player with him. And a motivated player. If this don't motivate you, nothing will.
I think you're right, because if you take a look, who's still on the board? There's a lot of quarterbacks still on the board, and I think there's a lot of quarterbacks on the board that aren't even, at Shador Sanders' level.
Mm-mm. Well, it's funny that you said Raiders, because before all this stuff started happening, saying that there could be a chance that he falls, my original thought was I thought the Raiders were going to trade up to 2 to pick him.
You know what nobody's talking about, though, because everyone's so hyped up on Shador Sanders. Jalen Milroe's still out there.
Yep.
He did. Kyle McCord is still there. Quinn is still there. The mighty Quinn. Shador Sanders.
Riley.
Riley Leonard. Okay. Have you seen Bo Hartman or Sam Hartman play?
Oh, don't you talk about Sam Hartman. It's my dog.
Sorry.
You know what?
Because he's a dog.
Maybe NFL teams are looking at this draft class for what it is.
We get the quarterback position, like we've been saying.
Yeah, and it's not a good, and they're falling for a reason, because it's just not a good.
Listen, outside of, and I'm going to say it, I still think Shador Sanders would have gone in the latter half of the first round if he went out last year. I don't think he would have been a top pick. I think he would have been in the 20s if he came out last year. But I also think Jackson Dart may have gone in the 6th round last year, and somehow he went 25th overall. And we've said it before, just because you're good at something that single year, or you're the best that year, doesn't mean you're good. It just means you're the cream of the crop of the worst. So it doesn't mean sometimes
like valedictorian in summer school.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
Top of my class in summer school, baby.
That's right. I was gonna say that's right, baby. You look at it that way, but that's the thing. Lack of options sometimes doesn't make you still the best option. It just makes you that you're the only ones available.
Mm-hmm.
So I am very curious about that. All right, guys, it is 10 o'clock, 10:03. I've been on this for 3 hours. I need to check out because I got to do some things. I was gone all day yesterday. Before I say good night to everyone, I also want to thank Believe once again for believing in me and giving us the. I know you didn't see that one coming. I'm gonna email them. I'm gonna email them with that one because they probably never heard that one before. But I want to thank the Believe Network for coming in and allowing me to be part of their family. So once we get that's up and running, we'll make sure everyone knows when we're going to be. Stay tuned for all the new sponsors, all the new special guests.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't know who the special guests are going to be. My special guests next week are going to be T-Brad, Dan the Man, and OGR Sports.
I'm in.
So, Tim, please be on tomorrow. I want to talk. No more.
And get Jackson Dart on there.
We're gonna get. They asked me. You know what was funny? They ask you, who are your top 10 dream sponsors, and then they ask you who are your top 10 people you would want to interview. So I forgot to put Jackson Dart. I did put Daniel Jones.
No.
I do like Jackson Dart's personality. Like, he plays a lot like Daniel Jones in college, but Jackson Dart at least has personality. Daniel Jones was like the most bland person ever. But at least Jackson Dart's got some personality.
What do you mean, MC Light? I love MC Light with the granny glasses. I was looking for the little chain that held him on. You gotta have your readers.
T-Brad,
that's right.
I thought you were going to say because of his lack of brain cells, because of his toughness.
I want to thank everyone that came on tonight. I want to thank James, who was on earlier, and Davey, who stopped on by, and Jabari, who came on as well. We also have one of our new friends now, Dan the Man, coming in all the way from North Carolina. I'm not going to go with Virginia. I'm just going to go with North Carolina because I think that sounds better. We also had, of course, the venerable OGR, Lex Luthor Sports, coming in strong, and T-Brad making a late appearance. And I want to thank T-Brad and OGR personally for all the work they did yesterday on that almost 4-hour live stream when we went through the whole thing. So I really do appreciate that, and I really appreciate the Big Dahmer, of course, for coming on strong. And once again, guys, this is Tim, this is your Giant Strike Talk, pilot of Link Big Blue LLC. I want to thank everyone for coming in and staying in so long. No stream tomorrow, maybe a short one on Sunday. And until then, have yourself a good night, stay safe, and let's all do that Shador Sender sighting. We're out of here.
Yes.